forgot how simple life really was. Instead of sitting around with family, there was individuals sitting around boxes with screens, and they forgot how to grow their own food. And hunting was replaced by practices which were cruel, and everything seemed to be divided by plastic made with petrochemical oil, which was extremely toxic. And these people also ran their cars on that oil, which polluted the air and the water and the soil. But the ones who benefited didn't care about the earth. They were only interested in how much the oil was worth. When they started running out, they started fighting for control to secure the world's supply. Petroleum was their goal, so they assembled their armies, and their wars destroyed life. They hid the truth from the people, kept it out of their sights. And millions of people were betrayed by these lies, convinced to kill each other and watch each other die. Entire cultures were destroyed before our very eyes. We just sat around and watched the fire falling from the sky. But all the time we knew that it could happen to us. We were living in fear and we were on the same bus. By invading other people we created more enemies, but they believed that they were doing it to make themselves free. This is the world that I grew up in, so you understand my brain when it begins to spin, searching for solutions, a better way to be. And I think much clearer when I begin to breathe. So I breathe in the air. Yeah, take a deep breath. It's everywhere. Heal my spirit, heal my body, heal my soul. I know who I am, consciousness spinning through sacred air. The healers, whatever your call is, actualize and realize that we come here to balance these violent times. Warriors of peace, ambassadors of love, always staying centered when push comes to shove. Third eye wide open and dancing to music, accepting the power, knowing how to use it. Coming together, we circle the globe, seeing the oneness, our chakras are glowing. Our vibrations where we want it to be, keep it high, you know how it feels to be free. All you gotta do to understand these ways is breathe real deep and enjoy each day. Work selflessly with others and we'll all survive together. Tomorrow is now and there's beautiful weather, so breathe. Breathe in the air. Yeah, take a deep breath. It's everywhere. Heal my spirit, heal my body, heal my soul. Oh, I know who I am, consciousness spinning through sacred air. It's everywhere. Heal my spirit, heal my body, heal my soul. I know who I am, consciousness spinning through sacred air.
I've been waiting for something to happen, for a week or a month or a year, with the blood and the ink of the headlines and the sound of the crowd in my ear. You might ask what it takes to remember, when you know that you've seen it before, where a government lies to a people and a country is drifting to war. There's a shadow on the faces of the men who sent the guns to the wars that are fought in places where their business interest runs. On the radio, talk shows, and the TV, you hear one thing again and again, how the USA stands for freedom, and we come to the aid of a friend. But who are the ones that we call our friends? These governments killing their own, or the people who finally can't take anymore, and they pick up a gun or a brick or a stone, and there are lives in the balance. There are people under fire. There are children at the cannons. And there is blood on the wire. There's a shadow on the faces of the men who fan the flames of the wars that are fought in places where we can't even say the names. They sell us the president the same way they sell us our clothes and our cars. They sell us everything from youth to religion, the same time they sell us our wars. I wanna know who the men in the shadows are. I wanna hear somebody asking them why. They can be counted on to tell us who our enemies are, but they're never the ones to fight or to die. And there are lives in the balance. There are people under fire. There are children at the cannons. And there is blood on the wire.
You are invited to participate in a true multimedia experience coming to a home near you. LCM TV is bringing Lake County into the new millennium with news, live broadcast, information, music, talk shows, and local programming, all streaming in high definition online and soon to be on your Roku box. Join us at lcm-tv.com or be a part of our studio audience. You can also watch the shows at lakecomagazine.com as we provide programming to inform, enlighten, and maybe even enrage you. On Lake County Magazine Talk Show with Terry and Pete the Tax Guy, Wednesday mornings at 9 a.m. Like racing? Try the Checkered Flag Show, hosted by Ace Naylor on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. All ages and divisions in regional and national fields. Joni Lane brings a positive light to you every Monday at 3 p.m. Pasha Space brings an international flair as they discuss ecological, health, and social issues in Haiti with people around the world. End up your week with positive, conscious sounds on Saturday at 9 a.m. with Sister T on the Bridge. This show is also simulcast on KMEC 105.1 FM in Ukiah. Our latest show, Lcm TV News, is brought to you live Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at noon, and rebroadcast at 6:30 p.m. and noon daily, Tuesday, Saturday, and Sunday, featuring national, regional, and local news, weather, and sports. We have it all here for you on your local TV station, Lcm TV. Join us online and soon on Roku, giving you access to all the best Lake County has to offer. We are lcmtv.com, your multimedia connection. Tune in for the fun. It's live TV at its best.
Volume. Hello. Good morning. Welcome to Lake County Magazine. Bad hair day. Whatever. You're in Clear Lake in Lake County. There's no such thing as a bad hair day.
I'm sorry. I'm a little bit vain.
I have a bad hair day every day. Good morning.
Really?
Really. Thank you for joining us. That's the beauty of my hair, though. I don't have to really do anything to it.
No, but I have to. Mine's.
But I just come to the conclusion that every day is a bad hair day.
Anyway.
Yes. Thank you for joining us. Welcome. And this is Lake County Magazine. I'm Terry Larson.
And I'm Pete the Tax Guy.
And we are going to entertain and inform and maybe even enrage you. We don't know what's up.
Or make them laugh at us.
And there could be quite a few laughs along the way as well. We'll have Larry. Did I hit you?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Trying to get close
We'll have
to
Larry.
you.
I know. It's so nice.
Baby.
We have Larry Anderson coming in to talk about movement on the audit of people's mortgages and such.
Looks like he's actually made some headway with our BOS and
so he's going to tell us all about that when he comes in later on this morning. Yeah. And we've got a lot of, I see you saying that. We got a lot of interesting stories for you and in preparation for our news program. One thing I do find is that we are getting all the news very easily now.
Yes, we
and
are.
we know what's going on around town now.
Which may or may not be. By the way, folks, happy belated Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo, yes. And let's see, we didn't do anything for Cinco de Mayo.
No, we did not. We're too busy working.
Exactly.
It's your fault.
You know, we're not like some other
It's your
people that
fault.
can go party and have fun. And, you know, we have news shows to do every other day.
News shows.
Every other day news shows, you know what that means? That means we spend the day before that gathering the news. So we effectively spend 2 days on each news show, which is quite a challenge.
Yes. Along with still being taxed.
We are looking for more volunteers and a co-host to work with Peter on the show if anybody out there would be interested.
If anyone wants to put their face out there.
We need help in news gathering.
Who is well-spoken and who can pronunciate words that I can't.
Yes.
Decade.
Well, that would be decade. I got to teach this guy.
I did that one on purpose.
I know you did, but I had to put the word in parentheses in the teleprompter for him today so he would not get it wrong. But this guy, I don't know where he got it from, but he says decade. And there is no such word as decayed unless you're decaying something and it's been decaying for a long time.
Well, isn't that what our
then it's
country
decayed.
Isn't that what our country is doing?
Yes, our country is decaying, definitely. Which reminds me, that was Jackson Brown and a song called Lives in the Balance.
Good
And it was
song, good
originally
song.
written, I think, for the Nicaraguan situation
really?
or something in South America.
Right.
But it's so appropriate today as well. We just are living on the balance here.
Yes.
And, of course, our theme song, Breathe by Human and Human Revolution.
By the way, folks, I don't know if you watch the morning news or not on the major stations, but was it Concord area?
Yes, earthquake.
Yeah, they've had 3 earthquakes so far this morning of magnitude of anywhere from 3.1 to 3.9.
I'd be interested to see if they're fracking over there.
Well, it's on a fault line.
Yes, but I still would be interested to see if they're fracking.
True.
You know,
So-
because they have been allowing fracking in
In
California.
that area?
It's in the Central Valley, and we got a story coming up in the news about it polluting the drinking water there.
Yes. Yeah.
And well, actually, it wasn't fracking; it was the oil industry.
Yeah. Not much.
But they're
damage yet,
in
but-
Pennsylvania, they found it in their river, in the
Right.
Schuylkill River, of course, my hometown
and,
river.
they said this is like the 6th or 7th earthquake in the last several days. So something is rumbling underground.
Yep, exactly. Get that one in here too.
Okay. And let's see, what other latest breaking news? Maryland governor has lifted the emergency ban, or whatever it's called.
Oh,
on
she
Baltimore.
lifted it.
Yes.
Okay, I thought you said
No,
it
the
was still
Maryland
in.
governor did, not the
Okay.
Baltimore mayor.
Oh,
That's a
but the
different scenario.
Baltimore mayor is declaring a state of emergency. Is that correct?
No.
Or she already did.
She already had.
Okay. See, I'm confused.
What the mayor's doing, folks, is has asked the Department of Justice to step in and do their own investigation on racial profiling and the discrimination within the police department, including police tactics. So not only are they doing their own investigation on murder charges, which they've already put against two of the police officers along with other felonies, but now they're looking at what is really happening within the department. So see how unbiased that report can be coming out of the Department of Justice. So
Yeah, I don't know. I think they should probably do a fair shake because they seem anxious to really go after them and get some kind of retribution. I
Yeah.
mean, look at the cost this has been to the city and to the businesses and to the insurance companies and everything else. I
Right.
mean, it's a huge, huge event.
And the mayor of Baltimore really reacted extremely fast from the investigation that her department or her body made. And I'm just thinking, hopefully it's not an overreaction to appease the crowds and the violence that took place and give the police officers a fair shake. I'm not saying they didn't do anything wrong, but at least give them what their rights are under our legal system and be able to ensure that the facts are really there and not just made up innuendo type facts. So,
Right, right.
God, I have to
Definitely.
speak sometime, don't I?
Sometimes I just don't even know how you do the news show when you have trouble just talking in normal language to people.
Well, folks, our program here, as you obviously can tell, is pretty much ad lib, and we go with the flow. And when you're doing a news program, you can't do that.
No.
You have some very serious stories.
And we can't editorialize. We can't be
I
opinionated.
mean, there's so many times, especially when it comes to politics. I just want to throw my 2 cents in there, but it's a news program, and we're trying to be unbiased, unlike Fox News and some of the other ones. And so my personality really doesn't come through very well because all I'm doing is reading the stories with no interpretation.
Well, it's not about you. It's about the news.
I understand that.
Your personality doesn't need to come through.
Well, I look horrible on TV.
Well, people are not looking. They're doing their dishes and they're listening and they're not looking.
You don't think there's some young, sexy
I look
girls
horrible
out
on
there
TV,
don't
but
wanna
I
look
still
at me?
go out here and do this.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, well, I don't care about any young, good-looking women, okay? They got to go through me to get to you.
God help them.
Watch out.
God help them. So anyhow, we're doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Right.
Yours truly is the host, not an anchor, because I'm not a professional.
Right.
And except for a few mispronounced words or a few stumbles of my tongue, it's not a bad show. A lot of stories that don't hit the major networks, things that are in the press but are kind of put on the second page or third page of their newspapers or online subscriptions. And so we think it's kind of interesting because the stories are. What was the term you came up with, a marketing term?
For what?
For the news show, about the type of news we
Oh gosh. I'm going to have to.
You have to think about that.
Yeah, I'll have to think about it.
It's early in
If
the
I don't
morning,
write it
folks.
down, it's like whoosh.
Yes,
It
but it
probably
was
was a
very-
really good idea.
Yeah, it was an excellent idea. Now neither one of us can remember what the hell it was, but that's okay.
That's why I need someone to follow me around and write this stuff down for me.
I
But
think the worst part of the
can't
news
seem to get
program is
that.
I have to be careful what I say. I can't say,
well, yeah, that's right. You cannot say anything outside your script. Period.
yeah, I can't say hell or.
No, you can't say
No,
anything.
I
You
know.
can't act like a fool.
I'm not a fool. Well,
And you can't opinionate. Is
I
that-
know, but that's
is that
so
a word?
hard. Maybe at the end of the show I can do an editorial and say this is a bunch of BS. Clinton has no right running for president. We don't need another Clinton versus Bush race. They both are horrible. One's a scam artist. The other one's just a Bush. See, folks, I can do that here. I can editorialize. And
That's what this show is for. That's why I forget the news. You got to just turn that off.
no comment.
You got to just turn it off.
Look, I know I turn a lot of people off already. I don't need any more.
You don't turn me off. Does anyone else matter?
No. No, not at all.
I love you, dear.
I love you too, dear. See, folks, that's what you get. Husband and wife show. You never know what to expect. Could be one of those, oh my God things, or oh, I love you, Dovey.
Well, it better be lovey-dovey more than the other one, or we're going to lose our viewers.
We have our moments,
Yes.
like everyone else. So, anyhow,
Yes,
on that
dear.
note,
Yes, dear.
what did we do this weekend? Anything?
We didn't do much, I don't think.
What
I
did you
mean,
do Saturday? Oh no, we came home. That's right, from your
came
show.
came home from the show
And I
and just
had
hung out.
finished
I
doing
think we both took long naps.
4 hours of housework.
Yes, you did really good, by the way. Thank you. My husband is such a blessing. All I can say is.
All I can say is if I don't do the cleaning of the house Saturday morning, miss 1 week, God help us. The next week, it's just one
Well,
dust bowl.
Yeah, well, no, they're dust bunnies.
Dust
They're
bunnies.
giant dust bunnies.
We live in a dust bowl. And you wonder why we don't have any friends over at the house, huh?
Yeah, and those that do just never come back.
Oh, so true.
Those giant dust bunnies, I get them every time.
Yep. And the spiders.
Oh, what about what we
had
found
a
in our
really
bed
weird-
last
We should
night?
have taken a picture of that
I wish we had. I was kicking myself
before
later.
I squashed it.
Yes, because it was strange. I thought it was an antlion, but I don't think it was after
I
I
have no
looked at
idea what it
pictures.
was.
Well, let me show you a picture of it while we're talking, and
All right.
you can see if you think it was an
Too bad we
antlion.
can't put it on screen.
Yeah,
It was
right.
I was probably about an inch and a half long. It had kind of, what do you call them, claws, snappers on the front.
Oh, well, then it was. I asked you that, like that.
No. They
No?
weren't no.
Okay.
No.
So that's what I'm saying. It doesn't really look like. It's ugly like that. It was ugly like an antlion, but really, I don't think it.
No.
A what? It wasn't a spider.
No.
It almost looked like a scorpion, but
it looked
without
like
a
a
tail.
scorpion without a tail. No. Anyway, folks, it was about an inch long, maybe a quarter to half an inch wide. It looked like a scorpion with no tail. It was dark, kind of reddish brown with kind of tiger stripes, I guess. And I've never seen it. It was in our middle of our bed.
I don't know how it got
So
there.
I don't know if one of our kitty cats captured it.
Oh, one of
and
the
put it
cats
on
might
the
have taken it
bed.
as a gift. Yeah.
Yes, a gift. Yeah.
Was it alive?
Yes.
It was.
Yeah, I had to take it off the bed and squish it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Why didn't you just chuck him down the toilet? Oh, he could have crawled
Because you
back
could have
up.
drowned that. God. Anyway, it was really
okay.
strange and weird. So
Yeah.
life goes on. So.
Yeah. So
Anyway.
that was our little evening adventure.
Yeah, thank God I moved the blanket. Otherwise, I would have crawled right in bed with it.
Oh, I know what we can talk about right now that has to do with our personal life.
Uh-oh.
How do we get rid of foxtails?
Oh, yes.
That's the
Thank you,
problem we're
folks.
having. I will take any tips. By the way, you can reach us through our Facebook page. You could call us here at 701-6029. Or
Or
you can send us an email or a message through Lake County Magazine. But we
What
have
about
had a
sending
problem
us-
with our dog getting foxtails. She's supposed to have $3,500 worth of surgery to get rid of one that's in her right now. And luckily, the antibiotics seem to be doing their work, and she hasn't got her infection back. But so
we have foxtails all over
yeah,
our
and
yard.
and our friend Sean came and he cut everything down, which was great. But now they're on the ground, and we need to rake them up, and we're going to do that.
Right.
But there's still going to be a lot left behind, and even the cats that are indoor cats, they're getting them because the dog's bringing them in. I'm really afraid that there's going to be an issue. So if
So-
anybody out there has any tips on how to deal with foxtails, just get in touch with
Please.
us one way or the other.
We don't
okay?
want our little.
We don't want to
Sydney
lose our baby girl. You know, she's our mascot here.
And she's our office dog.
She's our baby girl.
She, as I said before, she gets more attention than anyone when someone comes in the office. Oh, what a sweet little puppy dog. Oh, she's
Well,
so cute.
are you here for the attention?
With my clients, yeah. I have a schedule, you know.
I see.
And when they start playing with Sydney for 10 or 15 minutes, it gets me behind schedule. So I keep on threatening to charge them time and a half.
I
But
just want to got some breaking news here.
yeah.
They're having a special meeting tomorrow to discuss the lawsuit between
that's next
Anthony
Wednesday.
Spittler, Jerry Spittler, and Robin Farnham, starting at 8 o'clock tomorrow in a closed session at City Hall in Clear Lake City Hall. Oh, so big news.
Well,
We forgot to mention the big news.
no, we know. I thought that was going to be something.
It's in the news, but it's not. We hadn't talked about
I
it.
know, but-
We just want to make a mention
Go
of
for
the
it, go
fact
for it.
that the referendum is going to be continued. They got enough signatures now. These arms are really not right in the right place.
Well,
Because I keep hitting you.
Yeah, I know you do.
I know, and I don't mean to. Because
Spousal abuse.
anyway, they needed 630 signatures for the petition against the zero tolerance in Clear Lake, and they got 635.
Approved, verified.
Verified signatures out of 1,290 that were submitted. That's so freaking close. It's unbelievable. But it also speaks very directly to the fact that everyone's vote counts. This is what y'all don't realize. Our votes are very valuable, especially in local elections. And this was a perfect example of that. So, I guess now that we've gotten the signatures we need for a referendum to be placed on the ballot, which the city now has to decide if they're going to spend 20 grand to put it on a special election in July, or if they're going to wait till the 2016 election, or if they're going to take the current ordinance and try to make some amendments to it to make it better suit what they need. And that is the advice that we are recommending, because if they don't do that, then they'll have to redo a completely new ordinance. And I don't know if they're going to be able to do that based on these rules that I've heard about that say that, you know, you can't redo an ordinance if it has the same subject matter or something like that. So,
Well,
yeah, so it's a pretty interesting situation Clear Lake's in right now with zero tolerance.
and for those who thought the new ordinance was absolutely a disaster, I would suggest you call or email every single council
Every
member
single one.
and tell them and voice your opinion on that so they get the message.
The
Because,
word
you
is
know,
the mayor is bound and determined to go to an election in July. So that's going to cost the city money. They're going to lose because the people that didn't sign these petitions correctly this time, every single one of them are going to be contacted and told they need to sign the correct information.
Well, you know what they're going to say, don't you?
What?
Well, they only had 635 signatures, and that's not part of
Well,
the
I know that's what,
population
but that's not
base.
correct, because actually the errors that were made were simple errors, like people who lived in Clear Lake that moved from one Clear Lake
Right.
address to another. I spent 45 minutes on the phone with Diane Fridley from the elections office, and she personally told me that was the biggest issue, was that and people who signed who were not registered. So those two problems are easily fixed.
Yep.
And that's the people who are gathering the signatures need to be trained a little more than our guys were this time. There were some gaps in information that they didn't get. And there was a lot of stuff that we thought they wouldn't allow that they did allow. Like we had one full book that was done in green ink. And when I mentioned that it should be black or blue, the young lady went back to the book and wrote over every single signature in black ink, which was great. But some of the names she actually misspelled. So believe it or not, they actually accepted them that were rewritten as long as they did not misspell the person's name. And those same signatures were rejected at City Hall when Melissa did her first count. So it's very interesting that the standards of signatures vary even between the city and the county. And then they turn around and, allow some signatures that the city didn't allow. So we were kind of glad about that. And by squeaking through with 5 votes, that is crazy.
Well, you know, it's like in baseball. It doesn't matter if you win by 1 run or 10 runs. It's still a win. And no one can dispute
Exactly.
it. Can you turn my volume up just a touch?
If you want
Just a little bit.
speak
Test,
to me.
test, 1, 2.
That's a little bit. I guess both of our
There you go.
volumes
That's
are
much
kind
better.
of low.
Thank you.
Is that better, Mark? Okay.
Thank you. You know, you could have said something, dude.
Exactly. You got to keep on top of these things, dude.
It's your job, man. Come on.
You can interrupt us anytime, my dear.
You know, you get paid a lot of money here, so you got to do your job.
Where do I find that 20 cents exactly?
Ask your
You do have a microphone there. You should be talking into that so everybody else can hear your funny little quips.
They may not want to hear. It's bad enough listening to us.
Yes.
Anyway, so you want to continue this
baseball.
conversation?
No, that's it. We'll talk more about it later.
All right. Unfortunately, we lost another game on Sunday against the third best team in the division. So our first 4 games, we played the best 3 teams in our division. So I think the league has it out for us. But we're down at boys.
I think they do too. I
Yeah.
think there's a personal thing going on.
We're down at Hannah's Boys Center. It used to be called
Oh,
Boys
Ranch. They don't call it that
No,
anymore?
they call it the center now.
Ah.
Beautiful area, right in the middle of Napa. Yeah, Napa.
Glen Ellen.
Glen Ellen area, just off Highway 12. And we played the team called the Knights. And it was one of those games where I didn't pitch well, but I only gave up 1 earned run in 7 innings. Very frustrated with myself this year, just not pitching up to my standards. But, you know, it's kind of hard to win a game when you only score 1 run. And then I brought Gino in the 8th inning because I started getting some tremors. And he gave up 8 runs in the 1 inning.
Yeah.
So we lost
At the end of the game.
either 10 or 11 to
sad.
1. But
it was sad.
it was sad because we are a better team than our
You
record.
are, and your errors are killing you, man.
Yeah.
Your infield and your outfield.
Which
are
I
just-
was surprised because usually
really
I
sad.
really thought our defense this year was going to be much, much improved.
I thought so too, and they've been really working hard.
Yeah, we got the
I know they've been practicing and stuff.
we got the Ford brothers, 2 gentlemen, obviously, that are really good ball players and athletes. But one is recovering from 2 strokes in January. That's Ronnie. And his older brother does a lot of traveling. He's retired, and he's a wrestling coach. And I guess he was a very good wrestler in college. So he's not always around. So when he comes to the games, he's a great guy, very good enthusiasm, but he's kind of worn out from all his daily travels on the wrestling tour. But I just expected better. Our hitting sucks, though. That's the biggest problem.
Your hitting
Our
definitely
absolute
sucks.
hitting sucks, including me. I'm
Yeah,
ashamed,
I know.
I'm disgusted
it's just
with
really
myself.
shameful.
And
You
not-
guys should do better.
we're not being patient at the bat. So
Mm-hmm.
we're 0-4, but not this week because it's Mother's Day, and we knew if we had a game on Mother's Day that every single guy in the league would be divorced. So the week after we play a team called the Ports.
You mean I get you next weekend?
This weekend.
This weekend?
Yes.
Oh, I'm so
It's
happy.
Mommy's Day.
Don't remind me. I have no kids, and I don't
Yeah,
like
I
Mother's
know.
Day anymore.
I know, but
All my kids are gone.
we're playing the Ports. They've only won
Empty
1
nesters.
game this year, so we may have a good chance. We beat them in a practice game before the season starts, so we'll see what happens. So that's my boring news on baseball. When we win a game, I'll get more excited.
Yeah. So far, it's been pretty
Wait, but
sad.
here's the thing, folks. We said we played 3 of the top teams in our division in the first 4 games. Now we get to play the teams that are equal or less than us, so we should be able to get 3 victories out of the next 4 games, and that'll put us right back in the race for the 4th playoff spot. The first 2 positions is a no-brainer. They're the same teams every single year in and year out, and there's no way in hell we're ever going to get that position unless we get some ringers. So any folks out there know some ex-professional ball players been out of the league for the
We
majors
need all the help we
that
can
are
get,
55
guys.
and over. Hey,
We
send them
can
my way.
carpool. You don't even have to drive yourself down there.
Exactly. So, all right. So that was our week.
So I got a joke for you here.
Uh-oh.
Well, it's not really a joke. It's actually a comment by Phil Murphy.
Oh God. Hey Phil.
But he, he's such a good writer. Okay, so this is in response to the count being turned in by for the Clear Lake Zero Tolerance, and he
Okay.
says, "Gee, you don't think they drug out this count as long as possible to put off the bad news for the council? How many signatures did they check per day? 5 or 6?" The council's stenographer, Denise Rockenstein, didn't
Whoa.
seem...
Whoa.
He's being sarcastic.
thank you.
Jeez. Didn't seem too pleased about it either, as her story on LCN today is about the skate park reopening. Good thing there is one source of information that hasn't been filtered by government or media censors. Good old LCM.
Is that why we're hated so
Woo-hoo!
much?
Yes, of course. Oh, yeah, you should have heard what Vince said about Elizabeth when he told her that we scooped them.
What did she respond?
She was raging.
Really?
Yeah. You're only saying that to cause trouble.
And
So-
your point is?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's Vince. And then he goes on, the only thing missing from this story is a photo of the facial expressions of Purdock, Lustelo, and Dixon when they got the news. Now, that would have been a Kodak moment. I'll bet Chief Butterball is relieved, as now his officers can get back to their normal routine of taking laps around town until dizziness sets in. Can't wait for the meeting on Thursday, as you can count on some priceless comments coming from the council as they search desperately for new ways to mishandle this issue as only they can.
Phil is such a good
I
writer.
love Phil.
You know,
Thank you, Phil.
He's so articulate.
He knows how to put it in perspective.
Yes. And folks, the council meeting for Clear Lake is
Thursday, 6
a
p.m.
week from tomorrow.
Yeah,
the
not
14th.
tomorrow.
And it is on the Melissa, I can't remember her last name,
Swanson.
Swanson, the city clerk for Clear Lake. When I spoke to her after Diane Fridley told me to call her for the results, basically said that every council member was notified and that it was on the agenda for the 14th. And it will be an interesting meeting, and I suggest anyone who opposes the new ordinance or the new ordinance that's no longer existing, you need to show up, voice your opinion. Not that they pay attention to us, because they keep on saying we're threatening the people who don't want it. They refuse to come in because they're intimidated by a bunch of stoners.
Right.
And
That's ridiculous.
it is stupid, but that's their excuse.
Pot people are not violent people. This is the stupidity that is ruling Clear Lake right now. They assume because you're a person of color or you're a person who smokes pot
Or long hairs.
or you have long hair or you ride a motorcycle that you're a violent person. And it's discriminatory. It is scandalous.
It's judgmental.
And it's judgmental. And self-righteousness does not win in God's ballpark, guys.
Well,
So-
last time I checked, I know this is, I'm being overly, whatever. Last time I checked, elected officials are supposed to govern for the majority of the community, not just for a select few. And unfortunately, that is very common here in Lake County. Don't need to go into more detail on that, but I wish the members of the council would actually say, okay, we heard the public. It was a close vote, but it was still the results, and we need to revisit the ordinance, come up with something that's good for everybody.
Yeah,
and
why
move
can't they have a
forward.
compromise? This is the problem. They do not want to compromise. And they're like lemmings. They're willing to follow Denise Lustelo
But why?
over the cliff
But why?
of their economy by destroying every penny that the city has in their coffers between the lawsuit and the referendum. The city's going to be completely broke.
Tell me what council member has any real experience in managing government or even a
None.
big
Well, Lustelo runs a business that's fairly successful. But I don't know how successful it is now since people have been boycotting them. But
I could address that issue, but it's not appropriate.
okay.
It's not. I'm not going to, because it's all conjecture. It's not real fact, because we
What's
don't know.
conjecture?
My own opinions about their business and how they may be run and all that good stuff.
And where their money comes from?
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but I'm not. Gonna,
True. And it's not
not
for
a-
publicly
No.
disclosing, but there's a lot that people don't know.
Can we talk about our crimes of fashion?
Crimes of what? You say
Crimes of fashion?
Of fashion? Oh, you mean them wearing shorts to court?
No, Denise's crimes of fashion.
Oh, I don't pay attention.
Because she's a Sarah Palin clone.
Oh God, yes, that's true. Forgot about that.
I love it.
Really, folks, she really is a clone. I never
I
realized
know.
that until
It's
someone
really
told me that.
scary. Yeah. It's really
So we
scary.
got Palin, who was the one that on Saturday Night Live that played her?
Tina Fey.
Tina Fey, and then Denise Lucilla. I mean, those three could be
Yeah, they
triplets.
could be sisters, definitely.
Yeah, that's scary.
It is.
So, but anyway, folks. So again, one more time, if you are against the new ordinance that just got defeated through the referendum, please show up or voice your opinion by calling or emailing the council members, and make sure they understand that what their own opinions are does not matter. It's what is the best for the community. So, okay. You want to get into the more detail on the signatures and what has to be done?
Yeah, I can read the article. It's short. So,
Okay.
But I'm just finishing something. But
That's fine. Okay.
Let me save this. So far, that looks fine.
We're,
though.
we're multitasking, folks.
We're trying. You know, Wednesdays are tough for us because the new show starts immediately after this show finishes, and we're usually up till 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning doing all the editing on the text for the news show, gathering all the photos and everything, and pretty soon we'll be adding in videos as well. So by the time Wednesday rolls around for this show, we're still finishing up the last stories and getting everything in order. So
Right.
we do beg your
And I read through the
patience with that
stories to make
level.
sure there's no real big words.
And I take all the big words, I break them down by syllable for him so he can read them properly.
Well, you know, hang on, folks. Let's just. If you ever watch our news show, you understand how I get tongue-tied sometimes. But you know, you read 30 stories in a row and
I
see
can do that. I've
how-
done it. Come on. But I am a professional. That's the difference. I started this in 1974.
I've done radio shows myself.
But you never had to follow a script.
That's it.
That's
It's always
it.
been ad lib.
Yes.
When I did my radio show in Phoenix before I met you, it was easy because I knew the content in my
Exactly.
head. It's what I do for a living. Reading stories, especially when I only get to read them once or twice, it's hard, folks. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
And so anyone can do better. Come on down, be my co-anchor, and let's go forward.
Okay, this is from Lake County Magazine. Voters in Clear Lake have gathered enough signatures to force a referendum regarding the zero tolerance ordinance that was enacted by the City Council on February 26th, with a vote of 3-1 with one not present. This means that the previous ordinance allowing growing 6 medical marijuana plants is still in effect. With 1,290 signatures submitted to the city on March 28th, 51 were thrown out immediately for various errors, and we found out later that some of those that were thrown out were actually counted again. The county received 1,239 turned in by the city to the county at the end of March. The elections office in Lakeport had until May 7th, tomorrow, to complete the count, which was finished today, which is yesterday. The final count was 635. 630 were needed to pass. Diane Fridley, supervisor of elections, told Lake County Magazine the biggest problem was that the voters had not changed addresses, having moved from one Clear Lake address to another. While there were many who signed out of the city or with missing information, by far the biggest mistake was the fact that someone had moved and not changed the address on the voter's registration. If the addresses do not match, the signature is disqualified, period. They make a lot of other concessions, but that is one they don't budge on. Terry Larson, who spearheaded the drive for the referendum, in conjunction, I know I hate that, with the Patients' Rights Committee and the Emerald Growers Association, who paid for the referendum to be written, said this was a particularly tough fight. We thank everyone who worked so hard to make this happen. The outpouring in this community has been phenomenal. It looks like a small margin, but if you take into account the fact that close to 1,300 people signed this petition, it speaks loudly to what the people want. We're up against some dirty tactics. People were harassed, bullied, and abused all along the way. But they didn't let that stop them. To be able to pull this off, especially by such a close margin, based on simple errors, gives me faith that we can do anything if we set our minds to it. Every person who signed the petition now takes a minute. If everyone takes a minute to fix their address, there's no telling where we can go. Every vote matters. It especially emphasizes the importance of voting and how important it is to keep your registration information up to date. We plan to spend a lot more time in the future educating people on what they need to know to make a difference in their community. The patients won this one, and they deserve it. Ta-da! The next step is the City Council will decide whether to amend the previous ordinance, as things now default to that one, which allows 6 plants per parcel minimum. It also goes up to 48 plants, to allow for enforcement that was missing in the ordinance and initiated the zero tolerance ordinance, or to put the referendum on the ballot, which will cost the city up to $20,000, depending on if it is a special election or if they wait to 2016. course, in 2016, we're going to see legalization probably come in. So it's questionable what really is the right thing to do, you know. City Councilman Bruno Sabatier, the only council member to oppose the ordinance, said simply, "The people have spoken." He will be a guest on Lake County Magazine Talk Show next Wednesday, the day before the city council meeting.
Yeah. And if I can interject.
Let me just
I'm
finish.
sorry,
I got
go ahead.
2 lines.
I'm sorry.
Proponents are asking that any residents who support the city going back permanently to the previous ordinance, along with adding in enforcement and other compromises, to contact their city council persons to let them know how you feel and to show up at the next city council meeting, May 14th, 6 p.m. at Clear Lake City Hall.
Well, see,
Okay?
maybe you need to be my co-anchor.
Well, I don't think people could stand to see us that many hours in one day. I'm not going to do
We'd
that.
break their computer screens.
But you see, I can handle it because I'm a professional. That's how it works.
Okay.
I am a
Anyway,
professional.
folks, this registration thing is not just for Clear Lake. If you've changed addresses within the county, you need
Exactly.
to notify the elections department
Exactly.
to ensure that they have the correct address.
Update your information.
So when we do get to vote again in this county, they can all be counted and verified.
Exactly.
Because your voice does count. And I never believed that until I moved to Lake County because, national election, my vote doesn't mean
5
anything.
signatures.
But here in Lake County, in small environments, I've realized how important it is, and I vote every single time.
Measure N passed by 500 votes.
Which is nothing.
Yes. We had 500 people in the Clear Lake referendum that had bad voters registration.
Right.
So it could have been the same problem.
Yep.
You can also check with elections to see if your vote was counted.
That's true.
If you have a question about it, you can check. I'm not sure if they do that for the petitions. I think they have a record on there in the petitions. But you can definitely see when it's an election if your vote was counted. And if it wasn't, they can usually tell you why not.
Sure.
They're very cooperative down there.
Yeah, they are actually. When Diane returned my wife's phone call, she was not in the office, and I had to take it. And I introduced myself, which I do every time because I don't know if she remembers who I am, but she does, and she was just extremely friendly and cooperative, very willing to share information. And when I asked her for the results, she said, I would really like to tell you, but I can't. Even though we do the verification of signatures, it's the city's process, and they're the ones who have to disclose the results. But
Right.
So she was very informative, told me
She's very
exactly.
professional.
Yeah, she told me exactly what I had to do. She didn't say, "Well, I can't tell you that. Have a nice
Right.
day." So
Right.
I give her credit and kudos for at least doing her job properly and cooperating with us,
Right.
considering we're not the good old boys. Right?
Right.
Probably John Jensen was probably down there helping verify the signatures, but that's okay. And Rob, of course.
No, actually, the way that it works there for petitions, well, actually for all verification, the what do you call it? The machine, the computer they use, is set up in front of a glass window, and so you're not allowed to be on the other side of the glass. You have to watch her through a glass,
Right.
and you can't see any of the forms. I guess it's against
privacy,
the
yeah.
law for privacy, so
Right.
you can't see any of the things. The only time you can see them is if the petition fails, and then you get a list of all the people who had bad signatures, so you can try to help them fix it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there's not in that situation, there's not really a good way to monitor it.
Right.
Now, with the city, when they did their count, there were actually proponents in the city council room that they used to do the count. And so they were able to watch everything. That's why they knew that one whole book was thrown out, because she overwrote the names in black. But then the elections office accepted it.
No, that's cool.
So, yeah, I mean,
Well, let's face it. I think
just goes
the
to
election
show
office
not everybody knows everything.
knows the laws much better
Exactly.
than the council, because they've
And
really,
there's a lot of flexibility in the actual signatures, too. So, yeah, unfortunately, she passed away.
Oh.
Yeah. So, yeah, so it's a very interesting situation, and it can also be, very flexible. The only thing they're not flexible on is the address change.
Right.
Oh, and she also said there was some signatures that were
Spit it out.
I know. I keep getting distracted.
I
I
know.
apologize. There also were some signatures that looked suspiciously familiar to each other, as if someone had just taken and done the signatures for someone else, the same person over and over. I think there was like one book that was like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so
that's-
there has to be a lot more training. And now they did let those signatures through. That shows how flexible they are, because they couldn't prove that anything really
Oh, no,
wrong
they
went
can't. They
down.
don't have
yeah.
an expert
But
signature
they said it
analysis
did
then.
look suspicious.
Interesting.
So
Don't tell the council that.
no, I mean it wasn't. If there wasn't, there's no way you can prove it. So it wasn't anything that they could actually
Right.
take.
Gotcha.
Okay.
I understand that, actually.
Right. So yeah, I hear the Clear Lake skateboard park is opening. I just
Yeah, I think, and it wasn't it Bruno kind of like
Bruno spearheaded the
enforcing
whole
that?
thing, yeah.
Yeah.
And last week, I think it was supposed to open last week, and they ran short. Oh no, for Andy Day last weekend or the
That's
weekend
right.
before, and they had to postpone Andy Day, which is a day in tribute to a young man, obviously named Andy, who passed away, and so they built the park, and it's kind of like dedicated to him, and so. They have done this renovation. At first, the city wasn't going to give them any money. And Bruno stood up and he said, dude, we got to fix this for the kids. We're not going to let them, we're not going to let you close the park, which is what the city wanted to do.
Yeah.
And so he stepped up and he had the park repaired. And I'm not sure where the materials came from, but we'll find out when he comes in next Wednesday. But anyway, they got the job done, and kudos to Doug Heron and all the guys working on this project, because it was a big project. It needed a lot of renovation, and the park is old, and now these kids are going to have a safe place to play again. So
Well,
thanks
again,
for that.
the whole thing that bugs me about the whole thing is that the council just said, no, we can't afford to do it, yet they're willing to spend all this money on lawsuits and referendums and special elections, and yet the poor kids out there who are trying to find something to do to stay off the streets and avoid all the problems that can occur. And they said, no, we can't do this 15 grand for the skate park, but we can spend 20 grand for a special election.
Exactly.
And 100 grand for defending a lawsuit in court.
Exactly. Well, you know what? They think they can, and they think they're right. So they're going to do it. They're going to empty the coffers. And as usual, Clear Lake will be on the verge of bankruptcy again.
It depends upon who you want to believe, and with my attitude towards the city right now, I have a tendency of not believing anything they say. But last time we checked and had conversations with the financial arena of Clear Lake, they kept on telling me different numbers on how much money they had in reserves. But even if you take the real number, the number they tell me it is, time you subtract a special election, time you subtract the projected dollars in a lawsuit action, their reserves will be down to $10, $20, $30,000, which is so far below the required amount for all cities in the state of California that it's stupid. And right now, their financial stress test is horrible. And if they spend these reserves, they're going to be at the bottom of the pit here compared to every other city in California. And with the amount of pensions that are coming due that they have to pay out, they have no choice but to file bankruptcy unless they have a miracle that happens.
I know. It's sad. It's just really sad.
It's just poor management. That's all it is.
So Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders will debate 6 times.
Oh, they're not. One's not running
Before the prime. They might actually decide to run together on
Yeah,
the same ticket.
exactly.
Who knows? But I think that's going to be really good. They get to debate 6 times.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, it's funny with all of the Republicans announcing their candidacy for presidency.
Oh, my
Hillary
God.
Clinton, who is not officially announced yet, by the way, made a comment last night or this morning in a press release stating how she's all for providing citizenship to all of the illegal. I hate to use the word illegal aliens. I hate that word, but for better choice of words, all the immigrants that are not in this country under proper documentation, that she feels that every one of them should go through a process and receive citizenship, which is a totally opposite end of what any of the Republican candidates think.
Exactly.
And I don't know, and again, I'm a little bit prejudiced because I just don't like the Clintons that much. I'm tired of seeing them in the press all the time, just like the Bushes. But I just don't know if she did that because she can reinforce her position to become more electable, or she actually truly believes that. And I'm not sure she does. I think it's just a political platform for her to become the queen of the United States. Could be a king. You never know with her.
Oh, you are too weird.
Why, look what she dresses.
Where did you get these ideas
Look
from?
at the way she dresses.
She doesn't dress well. I have to
And
say
they're
that.
not ideas.
Michelle Obama, even though she's got issues, she's got
She can't
Hillary
dress.
outclassed with clothes any day of the week.
Yeah, she doesn't dress well either.
Any day of the week.
But these are my opinions, okay? And on this show, I'm allowed my opinions, right?
Yes, dear.
Be it right or wrong, be it people agree with me or not, I just don't like Hillary. She has too many skeletons in her closet. You got to remember what happened to her when with Mr. Clinton became president. About all the I can't remember what they're called anymore. But remember, she's an attorney by trade, and she got caught with her hand in the cookie jar, which was basically whitewashed by the media and the powers to be. But if you really go back to the history of those instances, you realize how dirty she really was. Now her email scandal, the lack of reacting to, what was it, Benghazi or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
It's just she has a lot of issues to answer for, and we saw a poll, which my wife wouldn't let me read on the news show, saying
It was
that
a little too biased from
No,
Fox News. Come on.
no, showing
on.
that no, but it wasn't, because she said that 51% of the population polled, 51%. Okay, that's not like 80-20. Is that a show, 80-20?
No.
No, okay. Saying that they felt she was dishonest and not and hiding stuff. But it's only 50-50. It's not bad. I thought it'd be a lot worse than that.
Yeah.
Unless they pulled
Well,
more
it is pretty
Democrats.
close, yeah.
So, anyway, I just think hopefully that some other candidate comes forward and actually has some genuine ideas and genuine thoughts on issues that can overtake Hillary, because I don't want her as president. And it has nothing to do with her sex. It really doesn't, folks.
No,
I
it
just
has.
don't-
I think she's cocky. I think she's.
Oh,
I don't like
absolutely.
what happened with the emails.
Right.
Okay, I used to like her. I met her a couple of times, and I used to really think she was
And I still married you.
a great. Good thing the camera can't see that.
Oh, sorry.
So,
I'm shedding, folks.
exactly.
Actually, you look good on camera today.
Whatever.
You do. No, look at yourself. You look good.
Do I have to?
No. I have that Sam Elliott look today.
You have that Sam Elliott look, yeah. That mustache.
Mustache.
Did you hear the report on the beards? Beards
No.
are dirtier than toilets.
Yeah.
Yes.
You hear that, Mark?
He shaved most of his. Oh, really?
Really?
No, I believe it.
Yeah.
I've seen what people leave in their beards.
Oh, yeah. You should have seen John yesterday. And I'm not going to say his last name.
No.
John has he quit
Oh,
shaving.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he quit shaving.
Oh, no.
And I'm
So
like-
his beard is a freaking toilet
And
seat.
it's also white now. It's getting the gray at the very tip of it. And I'm like, really? And I talked to his wife, and she just rolls her eyes back at me and says,
Poor thing.
hey, I work 3 jobs. I never see him anyway. So
That's
who
probably
cares?
true. Yeah, at this point in the game, it probably doesn't matter.
The success to marriage, folks, is each spouse working 2 or 3 jobs, because you're never at home at the same time.
Yeah, that's true.
We work 3 jobs, but we're at home together all the time.
Yeah, we are the opposite of house.
Half laptop would travel.
I'm telling you, my life is on my laptop.
Yeah, tell me about it. Miss Facebook here.
It's the connection to the world.
Is the other door open?
Nope.
No, this door.
Yep.
Okay, so when Larry.
Yep.
Okay.
And
Yep. Nope.
Megan will be in
Nope.
too. Let's
Yep.
take a break.
Oh, Megan's coming again?
Yes.
Good. Can I ask her about becoming a
Yes.
co-anchor?
I've already asked her.
I
She's got to
know.
work out her work schedule.
Well,
though.
we need to have her work out.
Well, you need to make money so you can pay her, and then she doesn't have to do her job.
I have to make money? This is your business. lady.
Obviously, I'm not making any money.
It's
so.
your business. You want to run the accounting practice, and I'll run this place?
No.
Oh. On that note, folks,
On that
we're going to take
note,
a short music
We're
break.
going to take a short break.
Hopefully, she'll put on some really good, heavy, classic rock music, but I doubt it.
I don't know what's in store because I don't know what I actually put. Yeah, this is it.
Yeah.
Okay, so this
What
is
do you mean?
a
You've
good
had
one.
your 2 cups of coffee. Come on.
I know I have. I'm just functioning dysfunctional today.
Yeah, she's had a rough week.
It's
sorry,
still a
folks.
rough week. I'm
Yeah.
very distracted right now. I
And
apologize.
for all of you viewers out there, thank you so much for paying attention today. We have a nice group watching.
Good.
Hopefully they'll stay watching.
Love you guys. Thank you so much for hanging in with us. You know, I know we're crazy and sometimes we don't make any sense, but we do try our best, and we're really trying to give you some good programming. So
And today it says one of those loosey-goosey
it
shows.
is.
So,
We're playing it relaxed. Can I go to my music?
Okay. I'm a good husband. Yes, ma'am. Yes,
This
dear.
is something from a young lady called Emily Gimbel.
Any relation to Gimbels?
How would I know? Be thankful for what you've got.
That's a department store back east, folks.
Bye-bye.
Though you may not drive a great big Cadillac, gangsta white walls, TV antennas in the back. You may not have a car at all, but remember, brothers and sisters, you can still stand tall. Just be thankful for what you got. Though you may not drive a great big Cadillac down the back, a sunroof top, digging the sink with a gangster link, gangster white walls, TV antennas in the back. You may not have a car at all, but remember, brothers and sisters, you can still stand tall. Just be thankful for what you got. Though you may not drive a great big Cadillac, gangsta
Okay, you
We're
wanna
back.
be thankful for what you got. You know, that's what I always have to keep telling myself, and I am very thankful for what I've got. I've lived such a blessed life.
Damn right you should.
By the way, we're going to be writing my life story.
Oh, yes.
My best friend from elementary school, second grade we met, or third grade we met, and we've been friends ever since. We had a long time when we didn't know where each other was, but we found each other on the internet, and we've reconnected, and she just is fascinated with all my adventures and said, we're writing a book. You don't have a choice in it.
So for those who are interested in putting a movie deal together.
Well, we're actually going to do the book and then the screenplay. So let us know if you're interested, because there's some amazing stories in
let me
that.
tell you, folks, my cohort in crime here, my lovely wife.
Not real crime.
No, that's my job. Has led a extremely interesting life, to say the least, from her father inventing WD-40 to her adventures in the Caribbean to meeting me and my adventures. It actually is a very good story.
It's pretty amazing.
And,
every day I look back and I say, really, I did that?
And we're still alive.
Exactly, and I'm still here, and my health is still holding up.
And having watched many movies on Netflix and TV, this could be a very interesting movie.
A Lifetime original movie.
I think Sam Elliott will still be alive, so he can.
I hope so. We keep hoping, because he would be perfect to play you.
He has to grow his beard
My
out.
problem is I don't really have anybody good to play me.
Hillary Clinton.
Hillary Clinton. Hell no. She's not an actress
Except
either.
you dress better.
Charlize Theron, I would take that. She is
who's
gorgeous. Oh, my God.
Who's she?
I don't think she looks anything like me, but I'll take that.
I assume she's somewhat attractive.
Yeah, I'll get you her picture.
Okay, thank you.
You don't really think she's that attractive. I think she's one of the most beautiful women in the world.
I have
Yeah.
very strange taste in women, though, folks. That's what I've been told. Right? I think my wife here is the most beautiful.
You do have
woman.
really weird taste in.
Yeah, we'll be out. We'll be out in public at a restaurant or something. A young lady will walk by and she'll look at me and says, "Boy, she's really attractive."
There
And I'm
she
like,
is.
"She's sexy." I don't know if she's that.
But she has also that hometown girl look in certain, like, you can see her
That one,
down
but
there.
that one is.
No, that's intentionally sexy.
Yeah, that's yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, she's not bad.
Except
I-
she has weird taste in men. Her boyfriend's Sean Penn.
Oh God. Oh, yeah. He's not all there.
Right. Well, I don't think she is either, but she's a South African.
Is she really?
Yeah. She's, anyway, yeah.
So she's a Commonwealth
There,
young
see,
lady.
she looks normal there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other ones are more.
But I don't think that's a good rep.
No.
Maybe me as a younger woman, I don't know. But
That's true. We got to have multiple actors.
I'm more like
actresses.
a, what
Yeah,
do I want to
actually,
say?
She is kind of hot, actually.
She is,
yeah.
yeah. All right. Well, yeah,
Have you seen her lately?
she's gorgeous.
She's gotten old.
No, she's gorgeous. I got old too. What can I say?
I don't think so.
Well, that's because you're blind. Love is blind, remember? You're blind and you're brain damaged. What the hell you know?
Hey, folks, you know what it's like to hold a baseball in your right hand?
Oh, my
and try
gosh.
to throw it when your hands are like.
We were afraid we had to carry him out the field Sunday. He was really in bad shape. Poor baby.
Actually scared the
For
hell
those
out of
that don't know, Peter does have sports-related epilepsy. That was just diagnosed this year, so we're kind of living with the whole seizure
Actually,
thing.
last year, but that's okay.
Yeah, but either
Yeah,
way, it's just recently diagnosed, and we've been dealing with these seizures for a long time, but we didn't know what they were.
Yeah. It was funny. I had a small one on the bench during the game, and who I mentioned earlier, Greg Ford, was standing there. Not that I realized it. And after I got back into normality, he came in, "Man, you all right? What's wrong, man? You okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, a little sports-related epilepsy. She said, no big deal." "Oh, my God, I'm so sorry. Oh, what can I do for you?" I'm like, "Dude,
I know, he was so sweet.
it's not like I got cancer."
Everybody really is sweet about that,
Yeah.
but they don't realize that it's just something he has to deal with. One thing that is effective is the CBD cannabis oil. He takes infusions and does edibles, or sometimes just takes the oil
Trying
straight.
to avoid the
And he's
edibles.
doing the full extract oil. Well, the edibles with the CBD don't affect you.
Okay, let's
But
clarify
the
that.
full extract oil, he also does that, and we're finding that he's having much fewer seizures now that he started a regimen of actually taking it on a regular basis.
Yeah, I'm taking a week off on it because I've built up somewhat of an endurance to it.
Okay.
Right?
I think
Endurance? No. Tolerance.
Tolerance.
Thank you,
Thank
folks.
you.
See, that's what happens when I do the news.
Brain fart.
Brain damage.
It's a brain damage brain fart.
All right, so we're rambling. Larry Anderson should be here.
Well,
any
yeah,
minute or so,
I'm
but-
not counting on anything
Yeah.
because it was kind of a last minute thing. He said he's on his way, but who knows?
Can I just talk about this story here now?
Well, if you want.
Just curious, because it's a
I don't
fun-
know anybody in our audience has the money to do that.
No, I understand that, but it's, to me, hey, folks, if you're looking for a great place to live, beautiful blue waters, great weather, nice people, for a measly little sum of what?
Let me see your coffee.
This is my
gave me the
coffee.
wrong one.
No, I didn't. Sorry, folks. Thank you. Told you it's my coffee. God.
This tastes like sugar's in it, though.
No, it's not. Anyway, for a measly small sum of 1.3 million US dollars, you too can purchase a passport. You too can purchase citizenship, and you too can purchase travel throughout all of the European Union countries. Again, for a measly $1.3 million. Vacationers have flocked to Malta.
Malta. It's an
Malta.
island in the Mediterranean, and not a Caribbean island,
No.
which is unusual. But
And you can associate with some of the world's wealthiest Mediterranean people for a little itsy bitsy sum of $1.3 million.
$1.3 million. Yeah, but for $100,000, can't you get a passport still in Dominica?
Yeah.
Which is pretty much the same thing, except being a part of the European Union, you
Yeah,
wouldn't do
that
that.
that gives you more
but you're
credibility.
part of the Commonwealth.
Right, exactly.
That's even better in my book.
Isn't Malta part of the Commonwealth?
No,
Oh, it's not?
No.
Oh, okay.
it's part of the European Union, obviously.
So anyway, I thought that was
So,
kind of
I'd take Dominica's citizenship, and it's cheaper. $100,000 is a lot better than $1.3 million.
we didn't pay that.
Well, we didn't have to. We were actual real citizens.
Yes.
We don't buy citizenship.
Right. We actually are citizens of
Yeah.
Dominica.
I've been a part of Dominica since 1990. No, I'm sorry. 1979 when Hurricane
David
destroyed the island. Yeah.
There goes that story.
Just another adventure. What can I say? 10 days on an island
You know, she used to sell
with
heavy.
no white people.
She used to sell heavy machinery equipment. Can you see this beautiful young lady?
I had a ball in the
Selling-
Caribbean, island hopping to all the different construction
Yeah, I know what
companies.
you're hopping. That's all right.
Yes, that's just another.
You had a
adventure.
lovely life back then when you were single.
You know, I've
and
been
free
very.
to
I've
do
had a
what-
lovely life now. This is the best way I can imagine at 60 years old to be
Oh, you
with
just-
the man
you just
who is the
admitted
love
that.
of my life. I'm not afraid to say how old I am.
No.
It's a fact of life. Why hide it?
You don't have to hide it.
I don't want to.
All I know is in 2 years I get about $1,600 a month. Sorry, folks.
How much?
Social Security.
Oh, yeah, I get like a third of that. That's what happens when you're an adventurer and you're not working on the
You're not
table.
working.
Or you're having children and you can't
weren't
pay your
working under
bills.
the table either. Just
No,
in
I
case
wasn't.
IRS was
I wasn't working.
listening.
Period. I was on welfare for most of the time I had kids until I met you. Okay, thank you.
Larry who?
Shut up. Wow.
Hey, kid.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, I don't have enough. Oh.
Oh, that's nice. But why don't you wait till he comes then? Do you know if he's going to be here? Because we won't have time for both of you. All right, so let's give
We'll
it
give you a few
it till
minutes.
10:30 and we'll see how it looks then, okay?
Megan coming in her usual.
She's
11
coming
o'clock.
in probably at 11, yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah, she having a.
but that'll give him a half hour, which is
that's
probably enough
more
time.
than
Yeah.
enough right now.
I'd like to know where Rob's standing on his house too. Anyway, with it, I think
Probably
he's
on the
still
roof.
in his home.
Probably on the roof.
Don't be. Yeah, he's still fighting him. So it'd be nice to get an update from him. All right.
Okay.
So next subject.
Let me look at. Oh, by the way, folks, I know this is stunning news, but the Board of Supervisors actually had a real meeting yesterday.
But what did they do?
As it nothing. Zeros.
Larry, did you show up over there? Of course. Yeah. Okay. Well, we don't need details.
Not right now.
We'll talk about it when you come on board. Thanks.
We looked at the agenda. Unfortunately, I am so busy right now. I don't have the time, unfortunately, to listen and watch the meeting. So I wait till the video comes out. Which, by the way, folks, the last 3 weeks there has been no video. I don't know why, but there hasn't. The last 3 meetings, I should say. Anyway, the agenda yesterday was your typical approve this contract, approve that contract. They had another member that's of the staff that's part-time that they authorized to exceed part-time hours, which in essence makes them full-time, which makes them eligible for benefits, which cost the county more money besides the salary. Sorry. And other than that, there was nothing on the agenda worthwhile listening to. And I'm going to make a small rant and rave here, folks. Is that it seems to be the only issues that really stand out that people really care about are issues that they've already made their mind up on and have already going to vote the way they want to vote, no matter what the public input is. Sounds like City of Clear Lake. And what I don't see, and I harp on this a lot, and I don't mean to, but this specific point is that our economy sucks. The real estate market is getting better, but we still have a lot of houses in foreclosure there. Why isn't the Board of Supervisors coming up with their own ideas, putting them on the agenda to find out ways to create jobs, to create new business opportunities, and try to do something on a positive note for the county, not on a negative note, even though they think it's positive in their own minds. And so we see the standard same old stuff, which is important as a government body. They have to sign contracts and approve this, and I understand that. But I don't see anyone being creative with their thoughts or ideas to put it on the agenda for them to discuss it and see if there's a viable. I'm watching here. You will live on a beans. I got you.
That's my fortune.
Oh, it's a fortune
Yeah,
cookie.
why did you interrupt yourself for that?
Because you made me look
I
at it.
did not make you look at it.
You turned the computer
I just
towards
turned
me.
it so when you were done, you could look at it. Now finish your thought so you don't confuse people.
I confuse myself.
You do. I know, and
Anyway,
you confuse me too.
I don't get it, and I actually, if I can remember, which is hard these days, and if I ask my wife to remember, that's even worse. Short-term memory loss.
Oh, my goodness.
To find out why there is not more thought process involved in having to improve Lake County. Anytime I raise this issue, they say, well, it's the lake. It's the lake. Well, you know, folks, we all know the lake needs to be fixed, but we also know, for those of us who have half a brain, it's not an overnight or 1 year issue. It's going to be a long way to resolve the issues there if we get the necessary funding. So instead of making excuses about the lake is killing our tourism, the lake is hurting our economy, why don't we just put that off the side and actually come up with some new thoughts and new ideas to say, okay, we're dealing with the lake, but what is the alternative ideas we come up with? Bird watching, mountain trail biking, bird watching. And I'm being a little facetious to a certain extent. I'm sorry?
Boating?
Boating? Yeah,
Yes.
boating is safe on the lake, right? Just don't go water skiing.
Exactly.
Don't fall overboard. You know, the bass fishing is great because that's a catch and release, right? So, you know, there are things we can do to develop the economy, and I'm not a know-it-all, though I think I am sometimes. I just don't understand why the board can't come up with more ideas to help the county versus putting forth their own agenda. That's all. And when you look at the agendas on these meetings and you actually read the actions of the board after the fact, or even watch the video when they actually post it, it's very interesting to see what they do, how they go about it, and how they force or put forth their own opinions on things. And it just doesn't seem that the amount of money we pay these folks, along with the benefits, that we're getting a good return on our investment. That's all. And that's not a rant. That's just a fact.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking for some statistics on some of the stories we do on our news show. I found out that some of the governmental websites, especially the U.S., believe it or not, really does have up-to-date reporting in regards to statistical data. And we have a report on unemployment, and I went to the U.S. Federal unemployment database, statistical, whatever. And they had up-to-date statistics on unemployment by region, job growth, things of that nature. And I don't know why our supervisors can't do the same research that I do, and I'm just a dummy, to come up with where our trends are going, how to reverse the bad trends, how to improve the good trends. I just don't see it. And I think they blame staff. Well, they say, well, staff's responsibility. Well, true, but don't you oversee staff? Can't you direct staff like you do about the marijuana ordinances that you want to put in?
There's so much energy put into marijuana that they overlook everything else in the county. There was a small bear that was killed the other day.
Oh, please.
Very young, not a cub, but like maybe a teenager. It was in the Lucerne region, I believe.
Yeah.
Had been coming to the guy's ranch a couple times, 2 or 3 times, probably had been separated from its mom and didn't know where to go for food. So they were concerned about their pets. They had small dogs, they had children. So the guy killed the bear.
Yeah.
And then called Fish and Wildlife and told them, and they let the bear sit there. As far as I know, it's still there.
Oh, actually, no.
Did you get a report it got picked up?
Yeah. I had to go see a client in Lakeport yesterday on the way back home, and we're chit-chatting for a few minutes, and she said, oh, by the way, I was coming back through Lucerne area. I'm like, yeah. And I was driving, and I had to stop. The next thing I knew, there was a bear next to my car on my passenger side.
Oh, there was?
Yeah, she was driving and
Oh, my
stopped, and
gosh.
the bear was right there next to her car. And she went over and like, really? And then she just drove off.
What road was that?
Highway 20.
Highway 20.
Yeah.
Okay, so folks, please be careful. The animals are out. We actually crushed a squirrel the other day that broke my heart.
Please. I tried to avoid
He
it.
did one of those double back, he was in the middle of the road and he doubled back right underneath our tire. And there wasn't anything we could
But
do.
I missed the chipmunk this morning.
That's right, you did. Thank you.
And
But they're out there. It's
Yeah.
springtime. So there's stuff going on. But the point of my comment was the fact that, they're so busy busting people that they can't take time. I'm going to that next. They can't take time to talk about taking care of the animals, and that's supposed to be their mandate. Okay, that's the thing. And I know we had that same experience when we called in about the mountain lion.
Yeah.
Not one return call from the forestry agent that works in this area. No one bothered to get back to us. Our goats were killed by a lion. I saw the lion myself less than a month ago crossing the road right above Thurston Lake. So it's still there, and I can't get new goats, and that's why I have such a problem with my foxtails right now in my yard, because
no
I have no
goats.
goats to eat the grass down. So I can't put goats back in there until I can put in some kind of a cage or something to protect them. I'm not going to let them get eaten by the
Hell
lion
no,
again.
that was a horrible sight.
It was just terrible. Anyway, I want to lighten up the subject here.
Whew, there goes the
Sorry.
earphones.
Whew, that was a pop. Anyway, I want to lighten this up. Mark, I want you to pay attention to this. Adele songs turn people gay, claims therapist.
Why do you never? I'm not going to test that one at all. Sorry, Mark.
If that was the case, I've been gay so many times.
Well, you're gay, aren't you?
No music or items, movies that made me gay.
Well, this is from the Gay Star News, so they should know.
I know that site.
You do?
A Texas therapist used to tell patients to throw out any CDs by any artists that are popular in the gay community and only listen to Christian music if they want to be straight. Adele is being accused of turning people gay with her music. A retired quote-unquote therapist had he used to claim that the Oscar-winning Skyfall singer is on the list of things that men should avoid if they want to be straight.
Really? I think more Donna Summer, ABBA. Those are the things to avoid if you want to remain straight.
Yeah, right. ABBA's a definitely.
What's wrong with that?
It's as gay as it comes. Okay,
Are you
openly.
telling me I'm gay now?
Hold on, let me finish. We got 3 minutes. Openly gay Christian Jensen, 37, he's a doctor.
Is he related to John?
Maybe. No, it's Jessen, not Jensen.
Jensen, okay.
Discovered the bizarre claims in a new Channel 4 documentary, Cure Me, I'm Gay. In the film, he meets retired therapist John Smid, S-M-I-D, from Texas, who used to offer rehab for gay men. As part of his old practices, he showed Jessen how he used to treat his patient. He throws out Jessen's Adele CD, telling him Adele is very popular within the gay community. You have to listen to Christian music. While Adele is popular in the LGBT world for her outspoken support for equal rights, she's an incredibly powerful worldwide singer. And so he had this program, this so-called doctor called Love in Action, that was based how other doctors dealt with drug or alcohol addicts. So he'd put you through a 12-step program, I guess. And this guy also visited a doctor who claims he can change sexuality through coloring books. And in London, he met a pastor who offers exorcisms to rid people of gay demons.
Oh, my, exorcisms.
There are enough exorcists on the planet to take off all my gay demons.
I was going to ask you that. In the show, Justin says, I'm astounded that in this day and age, people still think that being gay is a curable condition. It's an utter load of rubbish. Ah, too funny.
Where do you come up with these stories?
God just sends them to me. That's my Facebook friends. What can I tell you?
No, that figures.
Facebook's my biggest source of news. You know?
Why, you're making back there?
Huh? Yeah. Okay, so we're going to take a quick break and come back with Larry Anderson.
Hey, quiet in the background.
Hey, you're not, unless you got a microphone, you can't be talking. So you go.
So, are we done?
For the moment. We're ready to move on.
Okay. Music.
I believe I have some music queued up.
What do you have now?
I have no idea. I'm going to guess because I think it's Aswad.
I beg your pardon.
Aswad?
What's your language?
See, you go to cut 12. No, it's not Aswad. Let me just double check. Give me a minute here, guys.
All right, let me ramble a bit. Let me see what else we got for you.
No, that was the wrong. Aswad, what I wanted to do, but I never put it in.
By the way, folks, if you're familiar with this, Lakeport's House of the Living Rhythm is going to be closed by the end of May. You can find the article in LakeHomeMagazine.com. I guess they're having some issues with the landlord in regard to repairs and maintenance that have to take place that have not taken place.
But they're also having sustainability issues as well.
Yeah, that's it.
You know, not enough support, I think, from the community, although the community's been great. They're just, I don't think there is enough of the community.
There's enough revenue coming in
to bring
for
in the
that
revenue.
base,
So it's really sad because it's such a great concept.
Yeah.
And I love the idea of having a place where people can go do drumming and spiritual experiences. So it's really a shame.
They also do music lessons, teaching, whatever you want to call it there. It's an all-around type environment for music and spiritualness and meditation and all that good stuff. So, boy, I've never seen that plant before. So, you got music going or not?
I'm going to. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm just waiting for you to be quiet. We'll
you know how hard it is to be a husband?
Actually, most men do. They're married. Except for the gay guys. But they're married, too.
They're married, too. And I guarantee he's got problems just
I just don't know which one of you is the wife. That's the thing that gets me confused.
Neither. Thank good, John.
So you don't know what it's like.
Hey, a partner is a partner is a partner.
Okay.
Yeah, good point.
All right, we'll be right back. This is Lake County Magazine with Terry.
And Pete the Tax Guy. Have some more coffee, folks.
Absolutely. Join us.
Still wants.
Come on and shine, shine, shine like a star, shining so bright, like the star that you are. Oh, shine, shine into the future, spreading your light wherever you are. it is there if you seek it. So you can get it if you really want to. Shine, shine, shine like a star. Shining so bright, like the star that you are. Shine, shine into the future, spreading your light wherever you are. Shine,
Shine your light. Shine your light. Just about on there. Not even no warrior. Call it a destroyer. You man, simply the best. Nobody like can touch that. Name first, kiss it, say, don't get like can catch me. Moving like lightning with no energy. Shine your light. Just about on there. Shine your light. Just about on there. In my flow like a butterfly, the earthling man. Yes, me a jackboat, Colin Jackson. The crowd is roaring, Ian Rice scoring. Walking on the field, them are the champions they win.
when they say that never make it, I found strength from within. Cause it is there if you seek it. So you can get it if you really want to. Shine, shine like a star. Shining so bright, like the star that you are. Shine, shine into the future, spreading your light wherever you are. Come on and shine, shine, shine like a star. Shining so bright, like the star that you are. Shine, shine into the future, spreading your light wherever you are. Shine.
Yeah, shine. That's what you got to do, folks, wherever you are.
Kind of nice music.
It is a great song.
Yeah.
Aswad is one of the best groups out of London, out of England, reggae groups. They really are amazing. The quality of their music, it's very well orchestrated, and the lyrics are always positive. So.
Don't ask me to say that in the news.
What, Aswad?
Orchestrated.
All right, what's up? Oh, you on battery power? The other camera. Well, isn't it? It gets plugged in over here, doesn't it?
Not anymore, yes.
That HDMI thing. There we go. We got
Oh, the box. Yeah, right. Okay, gotcha. I was going to say, what? Anyway, so welcome back.
Hello.
Hey,
We've got Larry Anderson
Hola.
with us.
boy, this place looks beautiful.
Thank
I mean,
you.
My gosh, you guys are
We're making progress.
really making progress.
I have to say, the flood we had a couple of months ago was one of the best things that could have happened. It really just completely allowed us to reorganize this thing properly.
Yeah, and you got a technical guy there. What's his name?
Yeah, his
Mark.
name is Mark
Mark,
Stanglini, and
really
he's
nice
just
guy.
really good guy.
Staglini?
Stanglini. When are you going to learn how to say
Wait a
it
minute.
right?
Stanglini?
Stanglini. Stanglini.
Stank?
Now you got me saying it right. Shifty.
Oh, really?
Oh.
You know, my English teacher used to call me that because he was the wrestling coach and he wanted a you-know-what to me, and I refused to wrestle just because he called me shifty. I just refused.
Well, they used to call me larceny. So.
I know. That's why I kept on getting D's in English. Larceny. Larceny and shifty, huh? Something about that.
I know.
John Jensen would have fun of that.
They've already used it. Him and Joey already used it.
Oh.
Yes, I've seen it.
Shifty
in print.
larceny. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but Joey's being much nicer.
No, he is. He's actually
He's
now that
enjoying
he's
his new job in Sacramento. and-
working for BOE,
Yeah.
which is a nasty.
Yeah, well, he's proud of himself, and I'm
Yes.
happy for him.
As long as he's happy, that's cool.
Absolutely.
That's all that matters.
So, Larry, let's
Hi, Larry.
hear what's up.
Okay, well,
Hang on. I'm going to teach you one last time. Speak directly into the microphone so we can hear you.
Hello.
Thank you. Much
You know
better.
he has a background in radio, right?
yeah.
Well, then why
He was
don't
a
you speak
first-class
into the
engineer.
in the Navy? In the Navy. Oh, sorry.
Well, I was in electronics in the Navy and in the nuclear testing
tip that
program
up
on the
a little so he
Pacific.
doesn't bend
but
over.
going to college, I was
Pull it
technical
back.
director for a radio
Pull it
station in
back.
KCEY in Turlock.
Oh, nice.
While I
Where's
was going to college.
Turlock, California? Right.
Yeah. And so then after midnight they shut down, and I do maintenance on the station.
So were you ever on board a ship?
Oh yeah.
As a tour, not as just.
Oh, I've been on a ship as a tour on the Azure Seas, going to Mexico. But I had a long tour on
That
the
sounds
US,
like a cruise ship
USS
tour.
Duncan. and the Duncan was not a pleasure cruise.
No.
Okay.
Okay. You know, my dad, he was in intelligence in the Army during World War II, and he had to go from California, where he was finished his military training, to Australia, which is where he was stationed under MacArthur in the intelligence organization in Melbourne, where I was born. He had to take a private freighter to go from California to Australia, and he said it was probably the worst time of his life because of the lack of accommodations on that freighter. At least on a military ship, you have your own you have your own bunk with others. It's somewhat kind of comfortable.
Yeah, I've had all kinds of experience traveling with the military. From those old type Constellation airplanes, the 4-engine.
Oh yeah,
Connies.
absolutely. Yeah.
That's what they flew me out to the Philippines on. I was in naval intelligence.
Oh, you were?
Actually, what they call Naval Security Group.
Okay.
And basically, we did intelligence communications and monitoring other folks.
So the question is,
stuff
are
and-
intelligent officers actually really intelligent?
No, that's an oxymoron.
It is.
My father actually, his team, which my father led the team, actually broke the code that when we shot down Admiral Yamamoto, or however you pronounce it. Yeah, and actually, if you ever read the Code Breakers, the book, my father's name is mentioned as one of the people who broke the code to basically turn the tide against the Japanese during World War II.
Wow, that's very interesting.
It is actually, because they had to do it the old-fashioned way. They didn't have fancy computers. How do you pronounce it? Code. Sorry, folks. They didn't have the code that we use today to analyze.
I have no idea what you're talking
I know. Don't worry about me. Anyway, go on.
Anyway, we had some fancy code machines.
Let me get some more coffee here.
I know, you're really on a roll today.
I know.
Anyway,
Yeah, let's get back on track.
Hi, Larry. How are you doing today?
still alive after yesterday. Yesterday was really a high, crazy day.
Okay, so you
Are
went
you
for-
telling me they didn't televise? They didn't have this?
No, they had it televised,
We
but
didn't
we're
get
so
to watch
busy.
it. And they're not posting them on the website.
Yeah, they have.
anymore.
Oh,
their,
wow.
Their IT department, I think, is recording the sessions, and they place the video on their BOE website.
Okay.
For the last 3 meetings, there has been no video.
Strange.
I think either the equipment broke down, someone's on holiday, or they just gave up doing it because their time was too valuable to provide the public.
I'm wondering if they don't want the public to see certain things.
Well, that's my.
Well, that's what I've always wondered.
Yeah.
And they take time and they edit those things out so no one else can see them.
because what was really...
I've seen them do that before, but I haven't seen them do that and post it on the county site. I've
Right.
seen the guy that makes the videos. I've seen them do it, and
There you
I've
go.
seen the local media do it as well.
Is that Megan?
No.
Oh, okay. So you were at the public speaking commentary type
yeah,
part
yeah.
of the meeting.
Well, this is all very, very strange, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but
Yeah, you are.
usually the public session is pretty much at the top of the meetings.
Yeah.
Within the first 5 or 10 minutes.
Right.
And in our case, we had Liza Chavez, who's spoken here. She lost her house on her mod fraud thing, and they killed her animals or killed one of her cats and took all of her furniture when she wasn't even behind.
I can't even
Courtesy Bank of
understand how they
America.
get away with that.
So she was there to talk. Rob Eisenhower had a Linda Green forgery on his land records, and they sold his house on the courtroom steps last week. He was there to talk, and I was there to talk on this. And so very, very strangely, all of the items that they had on the schedule seemed to supersede us. So it kept going down, and by the time all the other items were gone and the room was empty, they finally invited Liza to talk.
During early part of the show, I was making a little bit of a rant about the meetings because yesterday's meeting was so business only based, meaning approving contracts, approving extra money being paid to staff. There's no real issues. There's no controversial,
issues, yeah.
no positive things for the county. So same old day-to-day business stuff. So why would anyone want to attend that meeting anyway?
Well, they had a bunch of awards and stuff.
They had proclamations again, stuff like that, right?
Yeah. But one of the neatest thing there that I think happened in that whole board meeting was Rob Brown had his granddaughter
Really?
there. And she's the cutest, most darling little thing.
Was she up on the...
Well, at first she was fussing in the audience, and Rob went and grabbed her and held her in his left arm.
Oh.
And my God, this little gal has the most charisma, and she's waving at the audience like this. And Rob, it's the first time I ever saw any humanity in the
Well, I
man.
was about to say that, so yeah, beat me to the punch.
I do believe there is some humanity there. There's an element
Okay.
there. So I got to give him credit for that.
That's cool. Give him kudos.
And anyway, we finally got up. Liza Chavez told her story about the modification fraud and the bank breaking into her house and taking all of her furniture and killing one of her animals. And then she talked about the San Francisco audit, because she also lives in San Francisco part-time, and talked about that San Francisco has become a sanctuary. There's no more foreclosures going on there after they did the audit, and so on. And Jim Steele was interested in the San Francisco audit, and his thought was, who initiated the audit? And according to Liza, she knows one of the supervisors, and according to Liza, it was the Board of Supervisors that initiated the audit in San Francisco. When the audit was done, it showed that 84% of the assignment documents were fraudulent, and they put a moratorium, a 90-day moratorium on all foreclosures. And she's telling me there's still some kind of moratoria going on.
Cool.
There, because they're not doing the foreclosures they used to.
Okay, and just to
that's good.
reiterate and make sure everyone out there understands is that the Board of Supervisors directed staff to put a moratorium on this.
Exactly.
To investigate.
But the San Francisco Board of Supervisors initiated the audit.
Right.
After the audit results were in, they put a moratorium on foreclosures.
Which actually contradicts what I heard from the board saying, well, it's really not within our authority.
That's right, and that's let me finish what happened with the board. Then I get back to I had a half-hour-long conversation with Ford just before I came down here, and
Tell the public who Ford is.
Mr. Ford is our new assessor recorder.
Just want to make sure everyone knows.
Right, and he was in the auditing department before for the county, so that's his background.
Okay.
And he's a very nice man, but in my opinion,
So he understands the audits and how it could make a change, and I don't know how
no,
he
he
can
doesn't.
How could he not if he was in the auditing department?
Well, he's
Damn
still,
bean counters, you know?
I mean, I can't figure this out. Well, I guess we'll talk about that. In the conversation with Mr. Ford, he said, "I'm guided by what the state regulations tell me to do," and he's got a great big thick blue book, and he says I have to go. Basically, he has to go by this book. I understand that, but when I tried to explain to him that many of us have uncovered fraudulent documents in the land records, he says it's not within his authority to look at them. And we've got, as an example, Mr. Eisenhower lost a house on the courthouse steps last week, and the assignment was done by a lady by the name of Linda Green. Linda Green was featured
She's world famous.
on 60 Minutes.
Yeah.
And she worked for a company called DocX. And DocX is was shut down by the Department of DOJ. U.S. DOJ shut them down. And DocX's founder, a gal named, her last name is Brown, admitted that they were doing fraudulent documentation, and she's in jail. She's got a 5-year term in jail for initiating fraudulent documents. Green worked for Brown in DocX, and I explained all this to Richard, and it didn't seem to make it phase. I mean, you've got prima facie evidence of fraudulent documents in the land records, and he won't acknowledge it. And he says it's not in his power to do anything about it because he takes his orders from the state authorities and his book. But he did say he sent a couple emails to Don Anderson about all the complaints he's been getting.
Good.
And then we finally agreed that it was should be in Don's hands to look into it.
Right.
Well, hang on. I'm confused, which doesn't take a lot.
No, you're a sharp guy. Don't tell me that.
Are you telling me that the head of the recorder's office does not have the authority to audit his own staff's work?
No. He said, well, first of all, I don't know if he has an authority to audit. I guess he probably does. but he said an audit wouldn't find anything, and therefore he's not going to spend the money.
How does
how's
he
he
know
know?
that he's not going to
What is he, the IRS?
His opinion is
If
that
Linda Green's signature is in any of those files, then he's found something.
yeah, and
You know?
apparently he just has blind eyes. You know, hear no evil, like three monkeys, see no evil, hear no evil, and
Unbelievable.
And I can't understand it. And then in Rob's case, he's got an affidavit from the Massachusetts County recorder O'Brien that's saying the guy that signed his assignments was a known forger. That was presented to both Mr. Wacker and Mr. Ford, and they wouldn't let Rob correct the record. They wouldn't let him correct his own record, so he loses his house on fraudulent documents. That's two cases. And it's absolutely outrageous that the recorder's sticking his... He just... And several states, I brought up... I gave him a copy of Krieger's book, Clouded Titles. Dave Krieger is probably the most well-known guy for doing research on land audits. He's done three counties in Texas, I believe, one in Osceola County, Florida, in each one of those cases, my understanding is that the auditors who didn't really, Krieger was involved in getting the audit going. He was not the auditor himself. And Ford kind of says, well, Krieger's not an auditor. No, he's a paralegal. But he got the audits going under legal guidance. So Krieger was just part of a legal team. But they found criminal fraud in every single audit that they've done, and every county that's done these audits has gone after the guys that have put forged documents in the files, and they're recovering money. And Krieger just sent me an email yesterday. He said they found something else. The banks that were involved with the LIBOR scandal, where they were changing the interest rates, when the interest rate, now I don't understand this completely, but what little I understand is when the interest rates were fraudulently changed and it affects your mortgage,
Right.
then you've got fraud on your mortgage.
Well-
And he said, this is massive. And he said, that our county, he sent me an email. He says, our county can recover millions of dollars due to the mortgage fraud just on the LIBOR scandal alone.
Well, that's what I was going to tell the people. This is based on the LIBOR, which is the London blah, blah, blah index, that a lot of adjustable rate mortgages are tied to.
Right.
Especially where it was what they call a negative interest mortgage, where you're paying a interest rate less than what the contract stipulates for X number of years, and then when that lower interest rate is terminated, then you have to make up that interest in higher payments, and that's where a lot of foreclosures came in because people couldn't afford the new payments. And that's where they were manipulating the LIBOR to suit their own needs. And lots of banks paid billions and billions of dollars in fines, and no one went to prison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The mafia fix is in.
Yeah. So anyway, so what happened at the BOS meeting yesterday that you spoke on?
Okay. Yeah, Liza spoke, as I mentioned, and then Mr. Eisenhower, Rob Eisenhower, got up there, and he spoke a couple weeks prior to that, and he says, I've got problems with my land records. I got Linda Green forgery, and they're going to try to foreclose on my house. And I guess it was about a month ago he spoke, and now they did. He lost his house last week.
Oh, Jesus.
$450,000 house, and he lost it due to fraudulent stuff. And he said, now you've got criminal activity because my house was sold under false pretense with fraudulent documents. And this is basically what he told the board. And he said he wanted an audit of the county land records because he knows in his own case he's got prima facie evidence of basically in-your-face fraud, and the county is continuing to let it happen. And then I spoke, and I had two issues. One was there's been 7 elder abuse complaints filed by the VA and other doctors on my sisters and my behalf on what the banks are doing to my case. The DA has not even called anybody or picked up the phone. Dr. Walker was my sisters and doctor, he's now retired. We don't even know where he is.
Oh boy.
They wait for him to die before they
Yeah,
investigate
that's
it.
exactly what they're doing. They're going to wait till all the witnesses are gone.
And then I brought up, I outlined all the Rob Somerton's case, Liza's case, and a couple other cases, and I said this is all evidence of fraud in the land records, and the county's not doing anything about it. And why are you delaying the audit? And just at the end of my, it wasn't quite a rant. I was rather cool for a change. And shockingly, Mr. Farrington said, he sort of asked me, he said, I'm out of time and to please sit down.
Right.
He was acting a little bit Hitlerish at that point.
Well, he might be
gets that way
taking lessons
sometimes.
from Denise Lucelo.
I don't know, because he used to be a really nice guy, I thought, and all of a sudden he starts acting.
Because when they get tired of hearing the same thing over and over, they get testy.
Yes.
That's just how they behave.
Testy, that's a good word
yeah,
for it.
that's
He's
how they
ve-
behave.
he's
I've
very
seen it a
testy.
million times.
But it sounds like all of a sudden there was a massive capitulation, and he said, Mr. Anderson, we're going to put this on the agenda for the 19th
Cool. That's all right.
to discuss the audit. And then just as I'm walking off, Rob Brown spoke up, and he said something to the effect, we're going to discuss whether or not we're going to do something. I didn't quite understand it, like it's going to be a yes or no whether we're going to discuss it or not.
Well, you have to allow public comment during that agendized.
Yeah, and I got confused.
Wasn't that? Yeah. it sounds
I really got confused about that. It's obviously that Mr. Brown is very much opposed to
He
an
doesn't
audit.
give a blankety blank.
Well, because he stole someone's house.
Well,
Why would
That's
he
another
care?
story. That's another story.
By the way, that case is still going on.
well, according to this is what was really strange. According to Joan Moss, that case was on trial the same day, along with his divorce stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And so I feel sorry for Mr. Brown in a sense. He must have been feeling a lot of pressure that day.
What goes around comes around.
Yeah, and I heard some stories about that foreclosure thing, but
There was no foreclosure. They never got any
they
due
stole-
process.
I mean, he
It
stole
was
the
literally stolen away from the people. I've been very involved in that whole thing. from
Okay,
the
yeah,
very beginning.
it sounds
That's-
ugly as hell to me.
Yeah,
that's-
there's nothing
that's-
to prove any chain of ownership to
There
go
was a
back to
fist
Brown.
fight and somebody kicked a dog or something?
Yeah.
Hit the
dog
dog in the head
passed
and the
away.
dog died, yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Nice guy.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's our
it's a bail
supervisor.
bondsman. What do you expect?
Yeah, the kind of people he probably deals with.
Well, that's it. Yeah.
And I think, that, anyway,
Never mind.
anyway, so they put it on the agenda, and I don't know what's going to happen there.
Good. Well, at least they put it on the agenda. Thank you, Jesus, for
Yeah,
coming
and thank
through.
you, Mr. Farrington.
Yeah, that was great.
And,
So now they have to discuss it. They can't avoid it.
and last week, I talked to Anita because of these very same issues, and I said I wanted to get together with Don Anderson because this criminal stuff is
Yeah, that was
really
my
in his
next
court.
question. What's Don saying about all this?
He was out of town last week. He told me to call him on Tuesday. In the meantime, I wanted to set up a meeting, so Anita said the only time she had this week was on Thursday at 10 o'clock. So she's reserved a conference room in her office at 10 o'clock. I notified Don a couple of times about that, both an email on the phone. He's not returned my phone call. But we have a whole bunch of concerned citizens, that, including Rob Somerton and Mr. Eisenhower, and possibly somebody from social services, one or two people may be there. Ms. Hutchinson, I talked to her yesterday, and she's on notice about this meeting. So the meeting's going to go on. I don't know if Don's going to come or not. But Don, if you're listening, the meeting's got to go on. If you don't show, I think you should be there to represent
Yeah, I
yourself
think he
in-
needs to
in-
be
in
there
the
because I
county's
think he
interest.
needs to weigh in on why nothing's happened here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think he can give direction to the recorder's office to perform the audit?
He could do both on the elder abuse issue. He's assigned it to Abelson almost a year ago now, and I've no return calls on it at all. And he can certainly, he's got plenty of prima facie information that shows that that there's criminal activity, fraudulent documents in the land records, and I spent $3,000 on 3 different audits just in my own case. We've got expert opinion that I've got fraudulent documents in my records. And he has them.
Well, you know what's interesting, and it's slightly
Don
off the
has 'em.
subject, but it's not, is that I met with a criminal defense attorney last week. It has nothing to do with me, folks.
Yes.
Seriously, it's nothing
Potential
to do with...
client.
Is a potential client, right? And he knows Lake County extremely well, both good and the bad. And his best friend is Don Anderson. And I asked him, I was trying to be polite, and he said, so, what do you think about Don? He said, believe it or not, he's actually a very brilliant attorney.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he said, I can't say nothing but nice things about him. He said, I've had to face him in court, and we've had to go at each other. And after the court, we'd go get a beer together because he's my friend, and he's very, very good at what he does, which is kind of contradictory to what we hear and what we
And
talk about
see,
here in the
yeah.
county. So
It's kind of weird.
it's unusual. To me, it's like, okay, here's a peer of his saying he's brilliant and very good at what he does, and then here's the general public, you, me, and a lot of other people saying, well, why doesn't he react to these type of situations?
I know, it's really not
So it's
good.
it's a catch-22 in my mind.
Well, I can't. I have. Don was my sister's attorney.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay, and he did her will. And
A will?
a will, and I'm thinking, my God, why didn't he put it in a family trust?
Well, thank you, because
She
That's
knew she was
exactly what he.
dying.
That's exactly what he should have done.
any attorney worth his weight or lesser weight that recommends a will versus a living trust should be disbarred. That is my personal
I
opinion.
mean, this would have all been over.
Yep.
I mean, it never
Right.
would have happened.
Exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
geez, maybe malpractice suit. I don't know.
No. I don't think I want to go there. But maybe this is one of the issues that he wants to
Avoid.
avoid this
Avoid
thing
facing,
and hopes
yeah.
it just goes away. Well, it isn't going
It ain't
away.
going away. Yeah.
I
Good.
got another foreclosure threat about a couple weeks ago from Reverse Mortgage Solutions.
Right. Again.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
Well, they
can't
wrote a-
believe
now
they're
here-
still in
Now
this.
this is really weird. I've had numerous conversations with them, a massive amount of correspondence back and forth, 10 qualified written requests sent to them, asking them who really owns the loan, please, so I can deal with the proper party.
Right.
Because I'd just like to pay the guy that really owns the loan, not them
Right.
because they don't own the loan.
Right.
So I get a letter out of the blue from a guy named Marcus Williams, who's supposedly my point of contact.
Uh-huh.
I finally got the alleged
Finally
guy
have
that's
a
supposed to be
person, a
my
real
point
human.
of contact. I talked to him last year. I explained the whole thing, and which we all know the story now. And he said he would solve it. Then I didn't hear from him. So on the 9th, it was the 9th of the month. The letter dated the 9th of the month, unsigned, a one-page letter, just saying they're going to start foreclosure. But the letter was addressed to my sister, who died in 2008,
Oh my gosh.
unsigned.
Unsigned. This guy's really on top of it, isn't
So he's really aware of what's going
So
on.
it's a computer-generated letter?
I don't know.
he? It was unsigned. It had to be.
It was an unsigned letter,
Yeah.
just saying there's going to start foreclosure. But if we can do mitigation, if you want to do a short sale. Well, this is family. This has been our family home for 25 years. I don't want to do, and it's upside down. The short sale wouldn't do anything to anybody. I mean, absolutely insanely stupid. So I wrote a letter back to Mr. Williams, and I explained to him that this has been an ongoing case, and there's an elder abuse case that's been filed, and I gave him the file number, and Mr. Ronald Donnell, who's been watching this, and after the attempted break-in last year, he filed a case with the U.S. DOJ,
Good.
Elder Abuse Division.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him about that case. So the last letter I got yesterday was from Mr. Connell, who was the guy that screwed up the whole thing in the first place and who wasn't supposed to be in the chain of contact, which is now another violation of the Homeowners Bill of Rights. He writes me a letter saying that he's looking into the RESPA violations because they never responded to up to 10 qualified written requests. I
Well,
mean,
that
they-
sounds like he might be on your side for a change.
No, they're
No?
just totally mixed up. He has to do that by law. When you file a complaint on qualified written request on RESPA, they're supposed to tell you they got the complaint they have to do that in 10 days, and then they're supposed to have 60 days to answer it. Well, in every case, they've said they got it, and then they never answered anything, except in one case, Mr. Cornell told me that I was not qualified to get any of the information because I didn't sign on the reverse mortgage. It was my sister, and I had no standing to inquire about it.
Oh my
Well,
goodness.
Okay, let me try to get my memory here. In your sister's will, were you nominated as the beneficiary of her possessions, i.e. the
And the
house?
executor
Right.
of the estate.
Okay, therefore, have you provided those documents
Yes,
to
they,
the idiots?
they have it all. That stuff.
Okay, so
I.e., I stand in the place of my sister.
yeah.
And I
Well,
told
actually, based on trust law or on probate law, you are now the official communication
That's right.
person and owner of that property.
right.
That's right.
And the mortgage company cannot call the note in because of change of ownership,
No.
because it was a inheritance, for better choice of words.
This is getting beyond me, but O'Donnell mentioned something about it that in order to sort this whole thing out, that I have literally a half interest in my sister's estate prior to her death, and that it's really complicated, and I might have to reopen probate to sort it all out.
And yeah, the California probate laws, in my somewhat limited understanding, because I've done research for a couple of clients on this, are very, I won't say strict, but very detailed, very straightforward. And I think whoever gave you this information could be right that maybe you need to open up probate
That
again
might be a good
in the
idea.
courts so this whole mess can be straightened out.
Well,
Yeah.
unfortunately, we're out of time. I
Okay.
can get
Are we?
Megan in
Oh,
here.
my goodness.
God bless you. I hope
But that half hour went fast, but thank you for
It
coming
did.
in and giving us an update.
And thank you, guys.
Yeah.
And will you give us an
usual.
update on your meetings?
Yeah, I will
Yeah,
do.
come back
Please.
next
We
week
got
and
one
let us
tomorrow.
know what's
Hopefully
up.
Don will show up.
So come on back next week.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do.
All right, thanks, Larry.
Thanks, Larry.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Have a good one. Okay, we're going to take a quick break and come back with Megan Berger and the Spring Valley Report and the LC scanner update.
Does she bring the
page.
hamburger buns?
I don't think she thinks that's funny, okay?
She can't hear
I'm
that
going to
one.
tell her to slap you when she gets in. He wants to know if you brought the hamburger buns, Miss Berger.
Yeah, I know.
You
You
must be
probably
so
heard-
sick of
yeah,
that.
I know.
All right, we'll be
Sorry.
back. It's Terry and
Oh, I'm Pete the tax guy.
and
even
it's
though I
Lake
don't
County
talk about
Magazine. We'll
taxes
see you
very
in a
much.
few. Dar Williams.
Finally learned that the market's righteous heart comes from a pale face on a paper dollar. And I bet you got a few bucks in your hemp wallet, so throw a tiny wrench and the fiber optic wires. Morals are cheap and you can be the first. We can let them poison and pillage foreign lands, or we can play the greed right into our hands. Everybody says it can't happen here. Everybody says it can't happen here. Things are turning around just as sure as he said it. Hell, things change and they all take credit. So ask why there's only 40 songs on a station. Ask your cafe about their coffee's plantation. Why is it Arizona hasn't gone solar? And tell your friend shop that hemp grows faster. And it doesn't mean a backgrown clear-cut disaster. The market doesn't care, but it wants to understand. And you can play the greed right into your hands. Smiling man says it can't happen here. Jennifer says it can't happen here. Things will turn around just as sure as he said it. Hell, the change comes and they all take credit. So roll up your pennies and do your battle. Chairman will start quoting Chief Seattle. Put little truth rocks on their letterhead, 'cause the market resists and the market absorbs with a 5-pointed leaf on the cover of Forbes. Yeah, they're saying people turn valleys to dams. Yeah, these are the ones that sing prayers to sand, and they just assume you didn't know this land was your land. But we can play the world back into our hands. Malcolm's gonna say credit. Wherever change comes, let's let 'em take the credit.
The taxman's taken all my dough and left me in my stately home, blazing on a sunny afternoon. And I can't sail my yacht, he's taken everything I got. All I've got's this sunny afternoon.
Manticorp Tax and Accounting can help you minimize taxation, establish a corporate presence, and save you money. Our over 25 years of experience in domestic and international taxation and incorporation services makes us the best at what we do. Your first consultation at Manticorp is always free, and our discounted rates guarantee you will not end up paying for what you don't get. Try Manticorp today. For more information, call 707-701-6416.
I don't know, ask
or
your
email
audience.
info at manticorpusa.com.
Don't do that, Mark. Get mad at you.
No, you make it on me.
We are live, just so you know.
Hi, folks.
This time.
We went live when he said, "Is my hair okay?"
It's one of those shows.
That's what I love about our show. You know, we gotta have fun, or what's the point?
Well, you know, since I got to be so bloody serious on the news show.
Well, that's
coming up,
it. You're
this
allowed
is-
to blow some steam off. You
I'm
know?
not blowing steam. I'm having fun today.
I know. It's been a great day.
I'm not being
so
very
far.
serious.
So far, so good.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Hi, Megan.
Hey,
How are you?
Megan?
I'm good.
Long time no see.
I know. I actually had
It's been way too long.
today.
Into the microphone.
I got up at 6 o'clock this morning because I thought I worked at 7. This is my mic. Am I good?
You need to get a little closer.
That good?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, man.
Yes.
It's good.
Okay. So I thought I worked at 7.
Much better.
And so I got up at 6 o'clock, walk in the door, and my manager's staring at me
Oh,
like, what
no.
are you doing here? And I was like, I work at 7. She's like, you don't work till 12.
Ay,
So
ay,
I was like sitting around. I'm like, oh, might as well go to the radio show today since I'm already up. And then I got my car lined and came over
Do
here.
you tell your boss and fellow employees to listen?
Well, they're at work. We
I don't
can't
care.
be on the internet at work.
Oh,
Strict
that
rules.
sucks.
No cell phones in the building, and we can't be on the internet
Oh.
because we have a lot of confidential information being passed back
Oh,
and
that's
forth.
true.
and
Whatever.
We had a girl take pictures of credit card numbers. while we were on the
what?
phone.
No
Yeah.
way.
So yeah, it's actually a federal law that anywhere within an operating station you
Right.
cannot have any recording or
Wow.
picture-taking devices.
Just
So our
sounds like
phones have to be
something.
outside on a table.
Sounds like prison. You can't have.
No, we put them outside on the table,
Right.
and then we can go out on our break and stuff. So it's actually a law.
Excellent.
Interesting.
Wow. That is interesting.
Yes.
All right. So what's been going on?
Nothing much. Not much in Spring Valley, really. Really nothing in Spring Valley. You know, everybody got all excited over cell phone service, and it's really stopped there.
How's it been working?
Still not working for me. I'm really tempted to go over to Verizon because my neighbor has Verizon.
I
and-
told you, Net Zero uses Verizon
Yeah,
lines.
my neighbor has Net 10, but her
Don't
cell phone doesn't
get,
work.
But don't get
Ours
Verizon. Ours work everywhere.
Yeah.
Don't get Verizon. They'll cost you an arm and a leg, and you'll get data charges and everything.
Yeah, well, I
It's
know they
bad
have like
deal.
unlimited plans. My neighbor pays $160 for 4 people, and they get 10
Yeah.
gigs a month.
Yeah, 10 gigs. Whoop
I
de
don't know.
do. I
I'm
could
just-
use
I'm
10
playing
gigs
around
a
with
we
the
month.
don't.
idea,
We don't
but
use that much anymore.
At the same time, I hope that I'm not living out there much longer. We are living
Well,
for
that's
our own
true.
place. So at
That's
the
true.
same time, I get service pretty much anywhere except for Hidden Valley, Middletown. Get really bad service. And then Spring Valley. But even where I used to not get it, and then sometimes going between Lower Lake and Lakeport. Over,
Yeah.
But I used to not get it out on Bonham Road. I used to not get it in Upper Lake, and now I get perfect service.
Oh, that's good.
That's good.
At the same time, I don't want to leave my phone. My mom got me this case for Christmas, and it's like, if I get a new phone,
What
I
kind
won't
of
have
phone
the
is
case
it?
Anymore. It's a Galaxy.
So just get a Galaxy from a different phone company. They're all
Yeah,
the
same model.
Yeah, that's easy.
And I have to do something with that one.
Yeah,
So
See, folks, it's from Paris.
it's from Paris.
Paris.
it's way too big.
How do you say Paris in
Can't
French?
take all those big
Paris.
phones.
It is Paris.
Paris,
See, I
yeah.
can speak one word of French.
Oh, gay Paris.
Yeah.
Very gay.
A decade.
Oh, really? You're gonna go down that road? Oh, Lord, give me strength. You're getting way too comfortable
That's
around
our
here.
favorite in-house joke now when Pete does the news. Every
Decade.
time the word decade comes up, he says decade. And Mark and I just look at each other and we crack up every time.
Gotta have some sense of humor around here, folks.
Well, this show he'll be doing at noon, I actually spelled it out for him with the accents in the right place. So
Just remember,
he should get it
He
right
also
this time.
stumbles over Point Lakeview Road. Too.
Yeah,
I do
did
that
you
too.
notice that?
Yeah, I
Good.
just told
Point
Sean
Lake
that.
View. Is it like Point View?
No,
Point
Lakeview.
It's Point is
It's
one
actually
word,
a pretty
Lakeview
It's
is
a
another
road around
word.
Vigilance and Graham Gregory. That's the road I'm
But
going
it's
on.
actually
You're
a pretty
Australian,
stupid name.
It's okay.
Well, no, I speak a Cantonese, okay?
yeah,
a
right.
Cantonese is different than English.
Another
You need
word
to
he
go hang
makes
out
up
with
is
George Bush.
orientated
Orientated.
instead of oriented.
I can't pronounce that.
He constantly
I cannot
says
pronounce that.
orientated.
I cannot pronounce
I said,
that.
Peter, there's no such word as orientated.
Is
Oriented.
How do you say
You're adding an extra syllable.
Oh, okay. So he's putting it in past tense, like.
No, he's putting
you went
in
to
a whole nother
orientation and you were
syllable.
Orientated.
It's my own
Yeah,
word.
but there is no such word as
No,
orientated.
there's oriented, which means
Oriented.
you're well
Oriented.
or
Right, but
something.
there is no
Oriented?
orientated. Yes,
Oriented.
it's oriented.
So you have to tell me what syllable to enunciate.
Yeah,
I said the
I'm
other
going to
day
start
how-
writing him on little flashcards for you.
We were
That way
fishing, and this guy walked
you'll be
up
good.
and he was talking about Stephen Carter, and I said, we had heard that. But anyway, I was telling the story about him and his wife, and I said they're reconciliated. I told him reconciliated.
You think I'm
I
that?
did. I said reconciled. And I kind of caught myself. I was like, ugh. I
That's
was
a Peter.
reconciled.
That's definitely pulling a Peter.
Me too.
Wait, that's my job.
Promise. Hey, thank God this is internet, not MediaCom.
Well, it wouldn't matter in MediaCom. Are you kidding? The stuff
won't?
they have on cable? Come on.
Okay,
They
so
got X-rated stuff there
Not
all the time.
KPFZ, though.
KPFC
Yeah.
can never
Well,
mind. They can.
they can keep
No, we
doing
used
what
to
they're
have a
doing
friend,
without
me and my
us.
aunt had a friend from not Jamaica, one of the other countries.
Caribbean
down,
islands, yeah.
Yeah, Caribbean, one of those countries.
Yeah.
And he used to say dramatry. There's all this dramatry, and he would
Yeah,
say
man.
cellular phone instead of cellular phone.
No, it's mobile.
Yeah, they
he
say
was
It's a
all
mobile
that.
phone.
Because right when cell phones came out in the 90s, they're starting to get popular. He's like, man, all these cellular phones. It was so hilarious. He had all his own dictionary. I loved it.
Well, we're all allowed our own little quirks.
I do have some breaking news I'd like
Okay.
to share. Guys, quiet in the set. Kamala Harris aide arrested for allegedly running rogue police force.
Whoa.
An employee of California Attorney General Kamala Harris was arrested for allegedly serving in a leadership role in the extrajudicial Masonic Fraternal Police Department, the Los Angeles Times reported today. Brandon Keel, the Deputy Director of Community Affairs for California's Justice Department, which Kamala Harris heads, is currently on administrative leave as he faces charges of impersonating a police officer. He allegedly called himself the Chief Deputy Director of the Masonic Fraternal Police Department. In letters to various Southern California police departments requesting meetings with officials. During a search of 2 locations, Santa Clarita Valley police officers uncovered badges, identification cards, weapons, uniforms, and vehicles resembling those of law enforcement officers. I always see them with their uniforms, so they thought they were part of any department. A neighbor of one of the 3 people arrested told the station. The Masonic Fraternal Police Department states on its website that it is a descendant of a paramilitary group from the Middle Ages, the Knights Templar. The group also claims 500,000 members across the U.S. as well as jurisdiction in Mexico City. When asked what's the difference between the Masonic Fraternal Police Department and other police departments, the answer was simple. We were here first, the website says. We are born into this organization. Our bloodlines go deeper than an application. This is more than a job. It is an obligation. The group claims on its website to date to 1100 BC, though historically the Knights Templar group was affiliated with the Roman Catholic Church that advanced Christianity during the Crusades more than 2,000 years later. According to the Times, LA Times, an officer with the Santa Clarita Valley Police Station met with group members and could not ascertain their intentions. The 3 members were arrested last Thursday and released later that day. Keel faces charges of misusing his government identification on top of the charges that he impersonated a police officer.
Nice.
Who's running our government? This guy was pretty high up.
Yeah, no, he was. I understand that.
How many more of them are
Where's
out
the
there?
oversight?
Yeah, how many more are out there?
This is why
hiding?
citizens have to come together and call these people
Sean
out.
had said something to me about how the Tinkertons up in Mendocino, I forgot where he read it, but they said that they got $1 million donation from Fish and Game.
For what?
The Fish and Game donated $1 million to them, and
But
they're
they don't just get
mercenaries.
$1 million.
I don't know what.
Who are they?
donated
What
it
are
for.
they?
The Tinkertons. They were the
I don't know who
mercenaries who
they
were
are.
dropping down on helicopters and.
Oh, that group that's a paramilitary group that's
it's
supposedly.
all like retired officers and stuff.
Wow, they got $1
They
million
get donations from Fish and Game all the time.
for eradication.
I
That's how
guess
they're
it's
getting
just
their
a
funding for
donation,
eradication.
You know, to
But who
help
gives them the
them
right to do that?
To
They're
give
not
them $1 million
law
bucks?
enforcement.
Yeah, I don't
Oh
know.
my
That's a
God.
civil
Sean was
suit.
talking about it the other day.
Yeah.
Well, they do hire contractors. Hello, the government hires contractors all the time to do military
that's
things.
in war zones.
No, there's no restrictions, dear. They can
I don't
hire
think
whoever
that
they
were
want.
Paying them to do it. They were donating the money, and then they went and did it for them.
Yeah, I understand.
So
Yeah.
I think there's something going on.
Are they a non-profit organization?
I don't know too much about it. Sean's more into it than I am.
I need to talk to Sean because if they're not a non-profit organization, that's reportable income. They have to then pay taxes on it.
Yeah.
And if they're a non-profit organization,
Well,
under
you're
what?
also, it doesn't matter, if you're an organization, you can't just drop down and back.
Well, no, what I'm
backyard.
getting at, if they are a non-profit, they can't qualify under IRS statutes because they don't meet the criteria.
Mhm.
Right.
Unless they want to call them it's education.
Right. That's probably what they're saying.
I don't know. Yeah,
It's weird.
So I have a question for you from the scanner page.
Yes.
What in your right mind ever inspired you to post about going to Taco Bell in Lakeport? Is that a news item?
No, but I saw a Clear Lake police officer that I posted.
No, I think that's kind of cute. Yeah, good job.
I posted something else about.
That is funny, though.
I was like, it was like 2 a.m.
Should have got a picture of it.
Fish.
Yeah, I know. That's the other thing.
Like elf on the shelf, but it's called No Fear Scanners here. So everywhere I take a picture of myself.
You want me to go back?
Yeah,
to
go
that?
read that to our listenership. Listenership?
I'm
Readership?
in Lakeport, so I just had to get Taco Bell since it's been out of commission in Clear Lake, and I see a Clear Lake police car going through the drive-thru. At least I'm not the only one who's missing Taco Bell at Clear Lake.
I'm not going to touch that one at all.
That's a good one.
So
I like
yeah.
that.
And then Sean had a very good experience with one of our new deputies. I didn't catch his name. He's new. He's very petite. He's like my size. But he pulled up. And it was like 2 a.m. because me and Sean have caught 7 catfish combined in the last week and a half, and I've caught 5. Sean's caught 2.
And you haven't eaten them though.
No.
Thank you.
Half of
I just
them
want to,
are, like, pregnant. Yeah, so it's pre-spawn. We let
You
him
said
go.
you're pregnant?
No, the catfish. They're
Oh.
pregnant. No. So
Sorry.
anyway, so it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I reel the catfish in. Sean gets it up his mouth, and it bites his finger and just rolls in a circle. And Sean's like, "Oh my god!" And he's screaming, and he's holding the catfish. And so he goes, and right when I was gonna take a picture with it since I reeled it in, but then I see the spotlight, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, we got spotlighted." Now he's gonna ask for IDs and run names, and it's 2 o'clock in the morning in the Oaks.
Yeah, what the hell are you doing at 2 o'clock in the morning fishing?
That's when they bite. So I already
That's
work
right.
night shift, so I get off at 8 and we go fishing and then do it all over again. They've all been biting right now, so we've been out there like I don't know, fishaholics fishing. because
You
they're
are
all biting
fishaholic.
right now.
And you don't eat them, right?
No, I just
So
asked
you
that.
are a fishaholic.
And
If you paid attention, I just asked that
I know, I'm
question.
sorry.
That's all right.
so anyway, so
multitasking.
Sean goes and sits on the bench, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I had the scanner too, so I'm like, he's probably gonna ask me why I have a scanner, And he comes up, he's like, "Hey man, what are you doing?" And Sean's like, "Oh, I just got a fish and it bit me." And he's like, "Oh, do you want me to call you a medic? Are you okay?" And Sean's like, "No, I'm fine. I'll be fine." He's like, "If you want, I'll call you an ambulance, dude." I think he's being a little bit sarcastic.
Having fun. Yeah, that's cool.
And then he's like, "I contacted you a week ago." Sean's like, because Sean, actually a week, I wasn't there that time, but about a week ago, he had come up when Sean was parked at the boat launch. He wasn't in a parking spot.
Oh, same
and he
guy,
said, "Hey,
huh?
you might want to move your car because another guy might come and give you a ticket." Just go move
Right.
your car, please. And then he let him go. So he's like, oh, okay. He's like, so he stuck around. He's like, just making sure you're okay. And then he went, he's like, have you seen anybody else, messing around doing something they shouldn't? And Sean's like, no, not really. And he didn't run names, didn't do nothing. And he just went on his way. And I think that was a very good experience.
Good,
we had.
yeah,
He
good
was
contact.
New, but then at the same time, Sean's like, "Oh, give him 2 years and he'll be a jerk." And I'm like,
No,
I
he'll
don't
be
know.
he'll move on to a better police force.
Was he sheriff's office?
He was sheriff.
Oh, he's
yeah,
sheriff,
He
I'm
was
sorry.
new. I've never seen him before. So
Were you fishing in the city limits?
we were in Clear Lake Oaks.
Then why? Oh, that's
Clear
not
Lake
within
Oaks
city.
is
No,
the
that's not part
sheriff.
of the city though. That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we were out at the boat launch.
Right.
So it was a good experience. No harassment.
That's nice to hear.
Harassment.
I know.
Harassment.
I'm gonna get you
Harassment, I'm
guys.
saying
What's wrong with
I'm gonna
harassment?
keep on top of both of you.
I like harassment.
Watch if you start doing the news, you're gonna have some serious.
You know what's funny?
serious
I
talks
do
with
the
me.
news, and she's going.
George Bush went on the TV all the time and he couldn't pronounce anything.
Yeah, but that doesn't
he was
make it
president.
right.
Yeah, but people laughed at him.
Yeah, you don't want to be the target of.
I was thinking about.
We're
George
already
Bush.
targeted, aren't we? Enough.
Yeah. But when we know I was saying it sarcastically, I know how to say harassment.
Well, I'm so happy to hear that.
Well, no,
I
there is-
didn't catch the sarcasm in it.
There is an English version of harassment. It's harassment.
Harassment.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
That's the English way of
I've
pronouncing
ever
it.
heard Eddie Izzard talk about the differences between Britain and America. And what
Isn't
they
he a
say.
rock star or something?
He's a comedian.
Oh, okay.
Eddie Izzard.
Yeah, I've heard the name.
Yeah, I forgot what it's called, but it was. He was making fun of. He's like, yeah, we say things so different. Americans say caterpillar, and we say caterpillar, and then we say. But then he was saying like. Then he got really sarcastic. He's like, you say aluminum, we say aluminium.
Aluminium, yeah.
And he's like, and you say leisure, we say
Leisure.
lisurier, which they don't really say.
No, it's leisure.
Yeah, he's like, we say lisurier.
Nice.
He's like, you say herb, and we say herb because
Right.
there's an H in it.
That's right.
Oh, I say Gura
Versus Hura.
versus Herb.
Are you listening, Herba? Oh, we're having one of those days, aren't we?
Yeah, the
It was
inside
a full
joke.
moon on the
folks.
scanner the other day.
A
I
what?
think the third. No, I want to say the third was a full moon. No, the second was a full moon.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, one of those days was a full moon, and it was crazy. It was very crazy. We had
It
a
is.
brawl at Robinson Rancheria.
Really?
And the police got called out there. They left for like 10 minutes, had to get called back. And then, yeah, they were there for quite some time. We had, another good act of deputies is there was a girl home alone. She said she was in her bedroom and she heard knocking on the door, and she said, I'm here by myself. Nobody should be there. So they went right over there. She was home alone. They went through her house with the dog, and then they took her over to her neighbor's house. And they said, stay with your neighbor until the mom gets home.
Good.
So they went over there, and then they got called code 3 over to Robinson Rancheria,
Oh.
and they had to go over there. Well, then mom comes home, and she's like, I can't fight. So then the mom comes.
Oh, her daughter's gone.
So she calls the cops. He's like, just tell her I left her with the neighbors. You know what I mean? It was crazy, but the mom was freaking out because she got home and her daughter was not there.
It just shows you how communication is so important.
Yeah, well, how they gonna? They should have maybe contacted the mom, but
Yeah.
but again, they got called.
Or
code
put at least
because
a
there was
note on
10
the front
people
door.
in the middle of a fight. Yeah. And
Not
then they
smart.
were in a hurry to get over there. It's like a party for them because the sheriff's like, he's like, I want to go over, and this is what he said. He's like, I want to go over there, but I have somebody in the back of my car, and they're like, well, we'll have a CO meet you halfway so you can just transfer them and then go with them. It's like you had to go join the festivities. We had a 31-year-old arrested in Clear Lake for manufacturing a controlled substance.
What was he making?
They don't say, but a controlled substance, it had to be, a hard drug, meth or something like that. I don't know what else you can manufacture that's a controlled substance. And then he got $100,000 bail. And then we had the shots fired on Scotts Valley Road, and we had two sides to that story because they reported, somebody called and said there's shots fired, people screaming and yelling. Police all get on scene. They arrested 2 gentlemen for drunken, disorderly, and resisting, impounded their car. And then a girl commented on the page saying, oh, that was my brother, or that was my friend, and he was honoring his past cousin. They threw a log in the water, and it sounded like a gunshot, and they weren't doing anything wrong, and the police beat them up. And I'm like, well, I was listening to the scanner, and typically if the cops are in a physical altercation, they'll say they're in a physical altercation, and I didn't hear any of that going on. So who knows what really happened there. And that's really all that happened this week.
That's all.
That's all.
Okay. By the way, folks, you really want the up-to-date news of Lake County, go to our, what's it called? Scanner.
LC Scanner updates.
Thank you. LC Scanner updates on Facebook, and we have a link from our from that Facebook page to LCM Magazine, LakeCoMagazine.com.
And we don't always just post scanner. And the other thing is that's why we decided to do scanner updates, because there's other scanner pages that will say, oh, there's a fight here. And that's all they post. We post updates. I will go through the logs. I put updates the next day. I keep people
Much more
informed.
comprehensive.
It's scanner updates, so people actually know what happened. Not
Exactly.
just, oh, her shots fired.
Yep.
They are going to know what happened afterward. And then if an article comes out, we always share that article. If it's something in the community that people were asking about, we try to follow it up, get in touch with the journalists from Lake County Magazine and make sure, do a story if we can, and then sometimes I post things like going to Taco Bell or deputy,
every now and then you voice your
related experiences.
Yeah, every now and then you voice your
We are a
opinion.
small community, so
Very small.
we post things like that, that don't necessarily have to be heard on the scanner, but they could still be things of interest to the community regarding police-related matters.
Yes.
So.
But you do a hell of a job on that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, seriously,
Good
I'm
job.
actually trying to be serious for a change.
Yeah.
You do a hell of a job on that.
And I like we're all female run page until Mark joins. But for now we're all.
I gotta leave that one alone.
I heard there was somebody that was going to start helping you, and they never came on board, huh?
I don't know what happened with her.
Well, not only her, but him.
I know.
Same thing. Her, him.
What?
I never got the scanner.
Did you ever ask for it?
You said you were going to give it to me, and then you didn't.
And then you didn't say what happened. You don't see that
Just
I'm
to remind
distracted
you,
by
Terry is a
25
very
million
busy
things.
woman.
Forget things.
Well,
By the way, Mark,
we
I
won't
was
forget it today, okay?
I wasn't even told you're supposed to get it.
That's true.
So what makes you think you should have it?
He has full control of it.
Oh, so it's your fault.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
I'm a
Except
husband.
I didn't tell him.
Communication, again, is very
And then I
important.
did clean out our ban list. Everybody gets a second chance, so I cleaned out our ban list.
Banned in the sense of people who can...
Everybody?
Everybody gets a second chance.
Even Roger?
I
Because
didn't,
tried
I
not
didn't agree to
other
that.
Groups I've been on other groups. All I did was say something like, maybe you should check your facts, and banned. You can
No,
never
but
comment again.
when somebody gets banned, that's because they do something really, really
There's
bad.
one girl that's still on there
Yeah.
because she was starts using very verbally
We don't need
abusive
people
language.
abusing people. That's right.
Yeah.
And I don't want to invite any of those people back that did that kind of stuff.
But
No, Roger Kinney.
You had to say his last name.
Kinney. Asshole.
Oh,
careful.
Did you do that in the microphone?
No.
Good.
Well, too bad. You should have.
No. Never use last names. You never know, like people like Rob Brown could be listening.
well, there.
I never use last names.
Never mind. It's
You could
one of
always
those
put one of
shows.
these in the lake.
Only if you ask certain people to swim. So that's all you have for scanner news?
That's all I have for scanner.
Oh, we got plenty of time. So what else do you want to talk about?
I don't know. Catfish have been biting, like I said.
Well, fishing at 2 o'clock in the morning? Don't you have a
That's
life?
what they do.
That is my life. No, it's really, there's only certain types of year that the catfish bite. So it's cheaper than going to the casino or doing something
Absolutely.
else because you sit out there and it is very addicting because we'll say, oh, we'll just go for a few hours.
But it's
That's
also-
how it always starts out. 10 o'clock rolls around, nothing good on TV. Well, let's go try to catch a catfish. And then 10 more minutes, one might bite. 10 more minutes, and Sean says, oh, let's do fresh bait. We'll stick around for 10 more minutes. And it's, when we're tired, we go home.
Do they put up a fight?
If they're big, yes. These ones I've had so far, I've not put up any fights.
So, okay. See, to me...
Caught a 25-pounder or so the other day, and put up a fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I'm used to deep sea fishing, swordfish and all that good stuff. And
Oh,
that's a
yeah.
fight.
When me and Sean went to Tamales Bay and he got a stingray, the stingray was dragging his boat around for about a half hour before it got to him.
Wow.
They got big
Oh
flippers.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
like about this big, and you gotta be careful because there's the stinger.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it was pretty cool. He caught a stingray. We were fishing for
That,
halibut.
that was in the ocean, obviously.
Tamales Bay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Not
You haven't been out ocean
There's some
15 miles
beautiful
since we sold
fishing.
the boat.
Yeah, I'd love to go out and
But we
do
don't,
that.
we don't keep anything.
Yeah.
We
well, I would keep ocean food, but now with all the radiation, you never
we
know.
kept one time. It was this. Oh my gosh, what was it called? Sean called it a sea trout, and I don't remember what it's called, but it's like a red fish with like dark red spots.
Like a snapper, a rockfish.
Starts with an L, a ligring or I don't remember what it's called. This is a couple years ago. We kept that and cooked it. But when it comes to catfish, unless
bottom feeders you don't want to eat.
Yeah, well,
period. Especially in the lake, because they're
eat catfish all the time.
I know, but they're full of mercury.
Yeah.
Okay, because they eat the bottom.
Well,
That's where the mercury is.
It's not bad for you.
Yeah. It never leaves your body. It is accumulated within your brain, and by the time you're my age, you're going to be dumber than I am.
Well, I've only ever eaten one catfish, so I think I'm still okay.
Yeah. They recommend no more than like once a month or something.
Yeah, no, we go to Indian Valley,
But
and
still
one
not
time we
good.
had one that was when they're big, they haven't been around feeding.
Well, if it's in another reservoir, it's not in the lake, that's fine.
Yeah.
The mercury does not go in the other lakes. It's just in our lake.
Yeah, and when
So.
you look at a catfish, the darker it is, the more low down it's been, so it gets darker skin pigment. The smaller ones are still up here,
Right.
so they're lighter colored, and we let them go when they're pregnant, they're big, and it's just better to let them go. One time we were in Indian Valley, and one of them swallowed a hook, and it was bleeding, and it wasn't going to make it. So we kept it.
Yeah.
Might as well not waste it.
Right.
But there was one guy we went fishing the other day, and this is what makes me mad. We seen 3 guys. I mean, they were nice, but they had 12 fishing poles, and they killed every catfish
Jesus,
they
are you
caught.
serious?
Yeah. It's like, where's Fish and Game? Where are they? Oh,
Oh,
they're
my
stealing people's
gosh.
huge 6-plant grows. Is what they're doing.
Exactly. There's more focus on pot than there is on the real crimes that are going on out
And then
there.
we went to it's Fish and Game. That is their job. And then
Right.
we went, and then there's this one guy who was crappie fishing, and we catch little ones on crappie jigs this big, and it's for fun. They're not big enough to
No,
eat.
you can't. Well, you can
They're-
pan fry them, but they're not really. They're too bony.
Yeah, I mean, but he was taking them and kicking them and killing them and then throwing them back in the water.
Oh, man.
He was just kicking them, and he's like, "Oh, I didn't know that was gonna kill it." It's
Oh,
like,
whatever.
His brain is this small.
Hello.
Threw it back in the water. So Sean, I'm not sure if it's legal, but Sean found a dead crappie, so he cut it up and used it for bait.
Sure.
It's already dead.
There's nothing wrong with
but
that.
You're not supposed to use live crappie.
No,
for bait,
but if
it
it's
was
dead, that's not against the
yeah,
law.
so he went out in the water up to his knees, gets the crappie off the bottom of the thing, cuts it up, and we caught 2 catfish that
He's
night.
risking his life going in there up to his knees.
Yeah. I know
Anyway.
there's some girls in the lake the other day, and he's like, "You better put on water shoes," and she's like, "Oh, we're fine." Cuts her foot on a rock.
Of
and he's like, "I
course.
told you."
And now it's going to get infected because that nasty water
Yeah, the
gets
sign,
in it.
especially in Clear Lake, there's an actual sign on the dock that says this has cyanobacteria. in it."
Exactly. Okay, I do have some good
Hang on,
news.
how do you pronounce that?
Siskiyou.
Siskiyou?
All right, I'll spell it for you.
Isn't that a state in Canada?
I'm new in.
No, it's a county in
I'm still learning all the
California.
counties in
Siskiyou County.
California.
Yeah.
There's 52 of them.
Siskiyou?
Siskiyou.
Siskiyou.
I'll spell it out
Okay,
for you.
I'm just,
That sounded familiar.
I did have a good news story.
good.
9 years ago, Tuesday, a Los Angelino named Ben Katz bought the first pair of shoes sold by Tom's, the e-commerce company that made waves by instituting a buy one pair and give one away policy. It has since been copied by other retailers building social good into their business model. To help celebrate the company's anniversary, founder Blake McCoskey is giving away a pair of shoes to a needy child each time someone posts a photo to Instagram of bare feet with the hashtag without shoes.
Yeah.
The promotion ends May 21st, or when the company gives away 1 million shoes via non-governmental organizations such as UNICEF and Save the Children. How wonderful.
I would Snopes that because I saw something this morning also saying it wasn't true. So I don't know.
This is USA Today. They
Yeah.
don't post stuff that's not
Yeah,
true.
I saw something this morning on
Okay,
Snopes.
it's USA Today, and it's dated May 5th. So this is absolutely true, and there is no way those guys would put something fake up there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, USA Today is the legitimate news source. That's all we use. So ever since they first were, created, they held a One Day Without Shoes campaign to remind shoppers of its mission to shoe the shoeless. Michael Franti does that for shoes. He's been going around barefoot